Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brew-Built X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brew-Built Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror-polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big Pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brew-Built line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brew-Built X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brew-Built Conicals. You can trust Brew-Built with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brew-Built at morebeer.com.
Home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, beer drinkers.
Get ready for an all-new experience in information exchange and beer culture.
Your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers from around the globe
right to your home.
You're not just listening to broadcasters, it's the Brewcasters
on the Brewing Network.
Where's my spit bucket, John?
I'm working on it. You sound great, by the way.
I don't recommend listening through headphones today. You don't want to get it closer to this voice.
I think you sound sexy.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, that's all that matters.
I guess it is.
Sounds like you're going to gob one at any time.
Although I'm sick of you being sick, it's been a tough week with you.
What happened?
You don't want to
overworked, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't shake it. It's not like debilitating or anything. I've been doing work and stuff, but I just listen to me.
I'm listening.
I sound like I'm in mono. I can hear it. I heard it on the Friday show even.
Oh, you have mono.
I think you sound better today though than on Friday.
Yeah, that's not saying much. I think Daniela's actually going to host the show today. You're going to be our official host today. What do you think of that?
I gotta go.
Just do it all in German. No one will care.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Everybody's drinking anyways, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, by the way, congratulations to the United States for placing second in the Olympics.
F you.
Placing second?
Yeah, Daniela's all excited that Germany.
Overall.
Yeah, overall. In medals. Germany first in medals. By like 6 medals or something, right?
I think by 4 medals.
Yeah. 4 medals, and then we were second.
25 to 29.
Yeah, and we got 1 gold more, too.
Wow. Daniela's funny that way because she gets angry at Americans for like cheering for America and going all pro-America.
Yeah.
But then she runs around with one arm straight up in the air pointing at the sky talking about Germany all the time. Oh, Germany's going to dominate the Olympics.
I'm only angry at the Americans when they cheer for the Americans when they win. But now that we won, it's kind of okay.
Double-edged sword.
Wow. Somebody else who was here the other night, another German, was saying that it's crappy that at the Olympics and only American fans do it. Like right in the middle of a race, we chant USA, but like no other country does that.
No,
nobody goes Germany, Germany.
But it's because USA is so awesome. It even gets me pumped up. USA.
Such a great thing to say, right?
It's a great thing to say.
It's like a lot better than USSR, right? Yugoslavia. None of it works like USA. You know?
Yep, it's just that's the way it's gonna be.
Harmony.
Yeah.
Harmony.
We got a good show planned for you today, all sickness and jokes aside. Glad to have you back in the studio today, Doc.
Thanks, good to be here.
You were away at the old anniversary deal, and you even called in last week, but we missed you. We were at the break, huh?
Yeah, I was trying to call in, and you guys were on the break. I tried before, it was busy, and then when I finally got through, it was the break.
Yeah, last week was crazy because it was a 3-day weekend for most people. Mm-hmm. So we were real mellow and right down to business in the studio, but folks at home were just getting hammered.
Yeah, I was reading about that in the forum. Yeah,
angry too.
Yeah, they were. I mean, Gucci was hammered and angry on whiskey all day, and oh yeah, it was funny. It's usually we instigate all the drinking. We're like, hey, let's drink, but no, John and I were pretty straight nosed and
focused, ready to go.
Like every other call was a drunk of the week call.
Remember that one week we couldn't get even one.
I know, and then we're like,
and there's Keg on the line too.
That's funny. Yeah, so it was cool. It was a lot of fun last week, and but glad to have you back. We did a little. I pictured you like hiding out in the hotel bathroom on your anniversary. Like, oh, guys, I only got a second. She's coming. This is all I get to call.
I thought about it. Actually, we were at the movies, and she did go into the bathroom. So before we go in the movies, you got to go in the bathroom. So she's like, I'm going to go. So, okay, well, damn, I'm going to dial the phone.
That's the only chance you get. Well, glad to have you back. I got a little feedback about you in a minute here when we do the feedback thing. I do want to say I got to give out a special congratulations, speaking of the Olympics, because this past Friday on Lunch Meet, we had the first Lunch Meet Olympics. And I just got to give another shout-out to Bub, otherwise known as Boob, right, Daniela?
Boob.
Because, man, did Boob bring it strong and won 2 gold medals in Friday's Olympics. You know, both in the long pee and also the bad beer guzzle. Neither of those events are very, easy to compete in, and he brought it strong.
Wow. Well, I was around for your beer guzzle.
That was ugly. It was weak.
What did you drink?
Pabst.
Oh, God.
I slammed a Pabst, and
he didn't even get it all the way down the first time.
No, I couldn't finish it. I mean, I finished it in 2 gulps, but I almost used.
Then he ran for the door.
I did. I had to scoot over and open the side door here because I was ready to go.
He was VOH.
It came up a couple times. I fought it back down.
Wow.
Yeah. Sometimes, in the Olympics, you gotta fight it. You know, you can't just let it.
No gain.
That's right. You can't just let it come back up. But I just wanted to give a congratulations and a thank you to Boob for participating in the Olympics. That was real cool. Mm-hmm. And he actually sent us some glassware that he had made. It's out in the. I'll get it for you guys at the break so you can check it out. Sent us some beer to try. So Boob, we're going to try your beer later. Be ready to call in.
How long did he have to hold it for the?
He said that he started early that morning
and
started just chugging water. In fact, if you look at his picture that he posted on the forum, he's got 2 medals around his neck and a giant jug of water. Yeah. And so he said he just was drinking all day. And him and his wife had to go do some things, like some important things for their daughter. They had to get her birth certificate or something. And he's standing in line there doing the pee-pee dance and rushing him back home. And his wife's like, let me just get this straight for a second. You're rushing home so that you can pee on the radio. And he's like, well, yeah.
It's for the gold, baby.
Is that weird? It's for the gold. So he really brought it strong.
That's a true champion.
Wow. 33 seconds, huh?
It was a 33-second pee.
That's a long time.
That's training?
Yeah. Now, here's what I'm saying,
Isn't that bladder doping?
If it was all, he said it was all in his speech, in his victory speech, funny. He said it was the training. It definitely was the training. And, of course, he thanked his wife for all her support and all of his sponsors. He thanked his countrymen.
And the curling sisters.
He did thank the curling team. Did you read today? It's old news now. I just saw it in the forum today. But the American curling team, the women, of course, they got a nude calendar out.
Nice. You only saw that today?
I just saw it today.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
It's a pretty good calendar, actually.
$35, it better be.
But they're naked, though.
But they got some good knockers.
Yeah. They got, whatever.
We're going to charge $34.50 for our calendar. Only because there's no big knockers.
Are you going to be, what? Are you going to be naked, too?
No, but we're going to put JP's big knockers on it. Did you see that image?
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, we got to do that. So I just wanted to give a good shout out to Boob.
Does he wax his chest?
Looked like it, huh?
Yeah,
he did.
Nice smooth skin.
Like
that picture is just so disgusting. Check out our forum if you don't know what we're talking about. You'll see some good pictures in there that are real funny, and it's all under the Beer Radio thread.
It's all listener picks.
It's under listener picks, which is now not even shouldn't be the title of the thread anymore.
Separate.
Yeah.
It's a separate thread.
It's pretty much all Brewcaster picks for the last couple months.
I like Lufa's, by the way.
It was funny. Did he put up the chicken one?
The chicken one. Me running around naked.
I love that one.
Yeah.
I'm fat.
Yeah, you put on we gotta measure you again.
Yeah, you put on some weight, buddy.
I grew too.
Been eating too much chicken. Something. I mean, that was just. It's that Olympic guy who just ran across the field, right?
Does this count as a gold? Screw Germany.
Hey.
USA. USA.
You can say as much as you want. We have more medals.
Yeah. I'll run the track naked for a gold.
You brought it strong. All right, Gino Acevedo is going to be in the studio with us later. He's from El Toro Brewing Company, and we're going to talk to him all about their beers. They've won a few awards with them, and good family-run business that I think we're going to kind of talked to him about that end of it. He's his wife is his partner in the company, and I think he's probably got his kids in there brewing. I don't know what he's got going on. So when he gets here in a little bit, we'll talk all about that end of it. I think it's kind of a cool thing to have the family-run brewery.
It's definitely unique.
Yeah, and he brought us some beer this week, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's good.
We'll be drinking that. Right now, we're drinking John's Doppelbock, though. It's good.
I'm buzzed. I'll tell you that much.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm not buzzed yet. I should be, but I'm not.
Well, because the glass is more
Wow,
than
Doc,
arm's
you
reach.
killed that, man.
Yeah, it's true. I got the glass too far away. What's the ABV on this guy?
That's 9.8%.
Nice.
Not
Yeah.
bad.
It tastes awesome, John.
Yes,
It really is
It's got
good
no
beer.
head retention, though.
Yeah, it'll pour with a nice head on it, but the alcohol's so strong it
Yeah.
just eats it right up, so it ends up looking like it's flat.
It goes down a lot smoother.
Yeah.
It finished out at 16. The original was 1087.
Wow. That's a heck of a drop.
Yeah. I tweaked with it
My
for 3
ESB
months.
just finished out at 16, but it started at 1054.
Yeah.
not quite the difference, yeah. I have it in 2 carboys. One carboy that had the Y yeast in it went fairly quickly and then really dropped out. Highly flocculent least. My beer is clearer than any beer I've ever done, and I didn't even put Werflock in the boil or anything. And I've not cold stored it, anything. I just transferred it from the carboy, clear as a bell. Problem is, it didn't quite finish out. The other one that I put White Labs yeast in, it's still going. I could still bubble in a little bit.
And
so.
everything was the same, too, right?
Everything else was the same beer. I just put it in 2 different carboys and then pitched, So
And you started that smack pack at cold, too, I remember.
it wasn't like refrigerator cold, but it had only been out of the refrigerator for maybe 2 hours when I smacked it. It was all right. By the time I pitched it, hours later, it had puffed up like it's supposed to. It wasn't going to puff much more. So
You get a better ferment. It's good to know.
except that it didn't. We'll see. We'll see what this one finishes out at because it may be better in terms of speed.
Right.
But if this one ends up finishing out below 10,
I don't think you will with the British.
you don't think so, huh?
Yeah. 11's the lowest I've ever gotten.
Okay.
So, but if you do, props to you, man.
Well, I got a very urgent thing here.
Yeah. Why don't you ask the question?
Oh, no.
When is the cider show going to be?
These douchebags.
Well, we left a message
They
with...
threatened me already. We need a cider show.
Damn, what's up? This is a beer show.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you a heads up. I didn't even tell John this yet. John has been trying to call the guy, I know that. Good friend of ours in the brew industry, Sean O'Sullivan, talked to the guy for us the other day and is going to he's going to send me his private number.
You can
So
shame him into it.
Nice.
So I'm going to blow up his cell phone. Hey. And I'm just going to give it all to you guys. I'm going to give out his number to all our listeners, and you guys can just call him and say, when's the cider show?
That's me.
It'd be funny, though, right?
It would be funny.
Yeah, until you get that injunction.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got mail.
Kick ass.
A couple of things here in the feedback box. Got an email from Hawaii this week.
So my dad?
I won't read you the whole thing. Your dad live in Hawaii?
Yeah.
Lucky him. Says, I've heard you mention on the show, about every show I've listened to, that you receive complaints about too much gaggle fucking, which is a military term for us, just rambling on all the time, versus having informative features. I have to disagree. Many other shows are so technical that I feel alienated as the regular guy. Your show appeals to the regular guy and keeps the camaraderie alive that has been influenced by many centuries of enjoying our great beverage in almost every culture.
Awesome.
That is what gives your show worldwide appeal, hence the worldwide listenership. And although you now have tens of thousands of subscribers, you conduct the show as if all the listeners are part of a small, exclusive friendship. I like that, because that's really what we go for. I consider every one of you. I try to remember as many names as I can from the chat room and from the forum and emails that I get. And you guys, too, each interact personally with people on the forum. And I don't think it matters how big it gets. It's definitely all about us being a small community. We started out with a few of you guys, and it's branched from there. So I'm glad to hear that this guy thinks we're keeping it real in the camaraderie department.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. That's awesome.
He goes on to say, please keep up the great job and never let Doc take another day off. His attendance is imperative as a technical expert and comedy relief.
You're a legend, Doc.
Glad I can fill both those positions.
Absolutely. I agree, Doc. You're not allowed to take days off anymore.
All right.
I will actually forward this email to your wife and see if it gets us any ground, so that she knows how important you are to the
Okay, I'll give you her
listenership.
email address.
Okay, that way she knows. Okay. Another email that came through, a suggestion for us, says, I have a suggestion for the advanced all-grain brewers. I think that in the future, maybe you can have a show about decoction mashing. I mean, what styles to use with it, the difference from the single, double, triple, etc., advantages and disadvantages of both. Now, we have done discussions about this. If you check back through the archives, I'm hard-pressed to remember a date right now. But we have done this. A whole show about it, you're probably right. For a lot of people, would be very interesting. For most people, it wouldn't at all be very interesting. So maybe what we'll do is feature another segment when we can. When we get somebody in here, it'd be nice to get a couple of brewers in here who each do the different style of mashing, plus some home brewers too, and kind of have a round table about it.
Well, Doc, you do it.
Yeah.
So
you do the decoction mash.
Certain styles, and when I'm a glutton for punishment.
What's the one that you just did that was a real pain in your ass?
That I did the wit, and that I use an adjunct mash, which is basically a decoction mash. And you use a separate mash, bring it through the different temps, and then boil it, and then put it back into the main mash. So, basically, it is a decoction mash.
Okay.
Although you start with two different mashes and then combine them. Decoction mash, you more take part of your main mash back out, run it up, then boil it, throw it back in.
Okay.
So there's issues with both of them. It makes a long brew day.
Yeah.
But
it's definitely a lot of effort. But if you want that, sometimes you want that kind of a challenge. So
you got to do it at least once.
Yeah.
If, like he said, for advanced all grain brewers, it's the next step up. You got to do it at least once.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll make a note of it, and we'll definitely plan a segment on a show. Then I think we can do a half-hour discussion on it probably, and get a little roundtable going.
Maybe Dan Gordon.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. It's coming in a couple weeks. So
yeah, they do decoction mashes.
Okay. All right. Here's another one. Now, this one's a good one. I like this because it brings up something we haven't reminded people about in a long time. It says, hey, gang, I've been visiting your site regularly for almost a year now. I've also been homebrewing for over 10 years. Now, like most of us who brew, I have built quite a few snappy items that I think other brewers would enjoy looking at. I would like to post pictures of my 3-tier 10-gallon brewery, as well as a really snappy home-built bar containing a home-built 19 CF fridge right in it. Now, I know what you may be thinking, but allow me to share these pics, and you'll agree that the items are worth it. Absolutely. We did announce this a long time ago. I think we just never announced it again. You can send your pics either to me or John. It's justin@thebrewingnetwork.com or johnp@thebrewingnetwork.com. Send them right to us. We can't allow you just to post to the gallery, because that would just get out of hand.
I mean, a little bit.
Take a look at our forum and you'll know what I mean. But we want to post everybody's brew picks up there. I don't care how small or big the homebrew system is or what you have that you want to post equipment-wise. We'll put it all up there. We want a whole gallery out of it. But we never got any emails. Nobody ever sent us any pictures. So I guess we'll just re-announce it because it's a great question. Send them to me. Just email them, justin@thebrewingnetwork.com. I'll be happy to put them right up there.
Well, it sounds like he's pretty proud of doing that and probably did a really great job. Maybe throwing in some of the technical stuff he did to make it.
Yeah.
And because we're going to get bombarded with questions on, how'd you do that? What'd you use for this? What'd you do for that?
That's true.
That's what everybody that's a gadget guy wants to see is somebody else's idea on how they did it and then incorporate it into what they're going to be doing.
Most definitely. So the more of you who do it, the better that gallery is going to be. So go ahead and send them in.
Some people say that they usually brew naked. Is that okay as well?
Yeah, that's all right.
You burn yourself once and you just don't do it anymore.
Yeah, I don't care. If you want it up there, I'll put it up there. That's fine by me.
That's a scary experience.
Justin finds he can't get close enough to the mash tun when he's brewing naked.
Yeah, that's right. It's just so warm there. So warm and soft inside.
Oh, that's your secret mash ingredient.
Yeah. I don't use a plastic spoon to stir that thing in. I'll tell you that.
Oh, my God.
Wow, you got some steel.
So you can tell the temperature the mash is?
Yeah. The problem is unclogging when you're done. You know what I'm saying? You get never mind.
Well, at least you're clean and sterile.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Sterile.
All right.
Was gross.
The last email I want to read. This one was tough for me to get to. It was a 2-part email. And one of the emails goes on for 3 pages. Whew. John, it was about our discussion about cask-conditioned ales last week.
Oh, that's
and
good.
more so how to pour from the hand pump and keep it
fresh.
Keep it fresh with a CO2
blanket.
Yeah, but what was the thing that that Dave said? To have basically a little valve that will allow only enough CO2 in there to keep the pressure right. And one of the things that Jamil called in about and said was that if you add pressure to your keg, like you had recommended, John, maybe put a couple of pounds of pressure on the keg just from your CO2 tank, that it would actually leak out the beer engine. Well, this guy, he installs beer engines for a living. He's a CO2 guy, and he says as far as he knows, the majority of beer engines will not leak whatsoever. If they would leak, then you could never keep the cask up above the hand pump, which happens occasionally when you do the gravity feeding from a hand pump. You keep the cask up above it. If there was no blockage, it would just kind of dump right out. And the other thing he said is that there's just a certain amount of pressure built up in general from the beer itself, and then it would push itself right out the hand pump too.
Head pressure.
So he said that there is going to be a mechanism on most beer engines to keep it actually from pushing out. So his suggestion was that he thinks, and he wasn't positive, although he does install the things, his suggestion was just that he thinks adding a couple of pounds of pressure would actually work just fine.
Cool.
And that you might not need to do the whole valve system. It probably wouldn't just push it out your beer engine.
That's a good point. Right on.
Of course, it's probably going to depend on the beer engine, so you're going to want to check that out. But I don't think it's that difficult to do. Put a couple pounds on it. If it starts squirting out beer,
stop.
Don't. You know? I was going to just give the email to you, Doc, because it's all Greek to me. I'm not even going to try to read it on here. But I mean, he goes on and on about all the parts per million and what it means. And I'll forward it to you. I don't even, John. I'll be serious. I don't think you'll get it either.
That's okay.
But it is a good start because he does talk about a lot of things in terms of carbonation in beer and then carbonation about how to serve beer. So I'll give it to both of you guys, and maybe if you can find some real clear and valuable things out of it, we can do a little post about it.
Yeah,
just in regards to the show.
All right.
Jamil highly disagrees with this opinion right now.
Of course he does.
I figured. That's okay.
It's okay.
Is he saying anything about it?
Yeah, he said just try it out and you'll see.
Okay, that's fine. And the guy said he wasn't positive either because he doesn't have any beer engines himself at home. He just does sort of the CO2 system installation. And his assumption in researching a few beer engines was that they wouldn't do that. But Jamil said he does have a beer engine, and I assume he's tried it himself too.
Yeah, he's now saying if the restriction of the line is more than the pressure, it comes right out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's his opinion.
Well, take a look at this email that you guys. Maybe we'll ship it off to Jamil too and see what he has to say about it, and we'll maybe give you a final report.
We'll have a Jamil.
How about that? I had to read it because I like it when our listeners kind of come in and chime in with disagreements about what we do here. So had to put it out there and let you guys decide for yourself.
Exactly.
All right. So just take a look at that.
Sweet.
I had something else I wanted to get to before we take a break, and in my medicated state, I can't remember what the hell it was.
Well, your brew house is looking awesome, by the way.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to get to.
Yeah.
Not just my brew house. We did build a new brew system. Danielle and I have been putting together a few things.
It's awesome.
It's working a lot better than our previous method.
I'm really happy about that thing.
It's cool. And Daniela did a brew yesterday. Her second brew. She did a 10-gallon mini mash.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
With the help of John and Justin.
Yeah. John.
She did all the labor, though.
She did. Yeah. She was, and I, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I tried for 3 hours before the show to get the gallery up with all the pictures in it because we took pictures for you guys. And there's so much traffic on the website right now, it won't even allow me to upload anything to it.
That's a good problem.
Yeah, a lot of you guys checking out the website. So I'll try again after the show when it dies down and see if I can get that up there. And there's all sorts of pictures of her doing all the labor and brewing and the whole bit. What'd you brew, Daniela?
I brewed. I don't know what it's called, the term. It's Daniela's beer, but what it is, it's a blonde ale.
Yeah. It's a blonde ale, and then you brewed it all to German specifications,
yes.
All German ingredients?
I told John that I wanted a German beer because I want to send it out to my family in Germany, and I know that they have a very specific taste and they're very used to German beer, and this is why I figured, okay, let's go ahead with the ingredients from back home.
Nice.
And of course you can get everything at B3. So John helped me designing the recipe. I took one of your old recipes that came out really great as a raw model for me, but then I alternated the recipe because I don't want it so bitter and hoppy.
Yeah. The deal is we could lager here, but it'd be a real pain in the ass. We'd have to do the ice bucket thing. Yeah. And also we're sort of impatient. We don't want to wait 4 weeks for a beer to finish. Yep. So a long time ago, I designed a blonde ale that I just thought it'd be real cool to do a blonde ale, but brew it like it was a Helles. So I used all Pils extract at that time and all Czech Saaz hops, except that I dry hopped it with Amarillo.
Which made it bitter.
Which did make it bitter, but the beer was awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
It was such a
it's like a pale ale almost.
It was, and such a dry finish, like a lager, that it really kind of blew my mind that I even brewed that thing.
That was your best beer.
It was definitely my best beer.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a cool idea. So when Daniela was telling me, well, I want to brew this, I want to brew that, I just said, well, okay, we can't really lager. Why don't you try what I did? It came out good. So she changed it. You did all Hallertau hops, right?
I did all Hallertau hops, yes.
Yeah,
3 ounces in total, 1 ounce in the beginning before the 60-minute boil starts, and then in the last 5 minutes, and then in the last minute of the boil.
And what's your grain bill?
My grain bill, this is what I put in a grains. Is that what a grain bill is?
Yes.
10 pounds of German Pils. 1 pound of German Munich. And 1 pound of Carafoam. Yeah.
And what's that for?
I don't know exactly, but John just told me that's what the guys from Augustiner use in Munich to brew their beer, and so I said, I want that.
It's their head retention right there, right?
Yeah, the Carafoam is.
What were the gravities?
1048.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
It'll finish nice.
We had a little trouble with the mash.
Oh my God. We had a little trouble with a lot of things.
I thought I was having a stroke of genius, Doc, but turns out not. Well, somehow my mash bag, because I just use the sanitizer bucket. I use a 5-gallon bucket to do my mash in. It's mini mash, so
right.
You know, I leave it in there for 30 minutes, and you put it in a giant nylon grain bag. Well, my grain bag disappeared. When I brewed a week ago, I took the grains out of it and set it down on the out back where my stuff is, and it just vanished. It's
Dog
gone.
ate it?
Something. It's possible. I guess it had a bunch of grains still around it. I didn't think about that. Maybe my dog did eat it. But it just vanished. And at this point, it's we don't brew till nighttime around here. So it's the beer store's closed. It's 7 o'clock at night. And I'm like, well, you got all these ingredients. We've already started. What are we going to do? So what I do is I cut up one of my mesh hop bags, and I put that on the outlet post of my bucket. You know, the little spigot. So it's got a screw on one side just so you can fasten it on the bucket. Took off the screw, placed the screen on there, and then screwed it back on. I figured with the screen there, I'll keep the grains out when we transfer, and I'll do the old spoon in front of it trick to make sure that it doesn't get clogged. That's what you do with the grain bag too. So here I am thinking, this is brilliant, because the grain bag's kind of a pain. It gets in the way while you're doing in. So I'm thinking, hey, this is just as good as a grain bag.
It sounded like an awesome idea.
It looked great. We'll put up some pictures of that too, me and John trying to...
Oh, that was so funny. John was all excited about Justin's idea, looking at him, oh, my little star.
I mean, it really, in theory, it was just a great idea.
So it got stage fright, didn't it?
It didn't work one bit.
Not at all.
We opened the spigot.
You got stage fright.
Yeah, it just, I was like, did we forget to put the water in? Like, that's how clogged it was.
Why is it still dry?
So we ended up having to I pulled off the spigot entirely and just we strained then the liquid that was pouring out the hole through a grain bag to get it out. So we still got it all out.
You hit your gravity.
We did. I mean, it was just a pain in that. It took a lot longer.
Yeah, well,
you know,
homebrewers ad lib, so you did well.
Yeah, and also because of that, I didn't get a real good compacting of the grain bed. It didn't really kind of jam down because of such a restricted flow, and I couldn't do a good recirc either because it was such a pain to even get the liquid out of there. So when all the liquid was finally out, when all the wort came out, I didn't feel really good about the grain bed. I felt like there was probably a lot of things left in there. So I heated up some water on the stove to 170 degrees and then just kind of poured it on top of it and got another half gallon out of it or something. Was that a dumb thing to do, or that's
basically batch sparging?
That's what you're supposed to do, right? I felt like I was just bathing the grain a little bit more just to get the rest out, because I was just positive there was a bunch of sugars left in there.
You're right.
You know,
good thing you did that too.
We got to really.
This was my question, anyways. In that regard, I don't know. Maybe it's a stupid question, but I asked Justin. So, I mean, we take all this good stuff out now, and we ended up with like 3.5 gallons, right?
Yeah, 3.5 gallons of
mini mash.
And I was wondering, and then we added like 7 gallons of water, and I asked him, well, why don't we rinse the water through the grain again? Because even if there's only a little bit left, isn't it better to get a little bit than nothing? And he said, yeah, he didn't really know.
As long as it's not too thin, then you're going to start rinsing out tannins and astringency. But
Okay.
but doing it once, basically you're doing a batch sparge. You drain it all out, fill it back up with water, let it soak for a little while, and then drain it back out again. You'll be fine.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But had we run all 7 gallons of water through that grain bed, you're saying we might have gotten some tannins and things in there. Okay.
Yeah, because it gets too thin.
Yeah.
And the pH on your sparge water goes up to the point where you're going to probably get some tannins out of there.
Oh, okay.
All right. So that was, we basically do, for a 10-gallon batch, and we're doing it mini mash, you basically design a recipe for 5 gallons of all grain. That's basically what we did. And then you add extract, say, for the other 5 gallons. So what was your extract then that you added too?
Malt thing, what was it again?
I think you did 9 pounds.
9 pounds,
8
yeah.
pounds.
8 pounds?
8 pounds German pills. Okay.
Oh, yeah, 8 pounds of German pills. I got it here.
And what was your trick with that too?
I didn't boil it for the entire time.
Right.
Because you told me that...
We didn't do it at the end.
No.
We're running an experiment. Because I've been asking about this on the show for weeks now, and nobody has a definitive answer. And I was also reading in Brew Your Own magazine, too, about designing the perfect pale ale. Yeah. And it mentioned if you're doing extract, not to add the extract until like 15 or 20 minutes to the end. And you and I have talked about it on here before, Doc. So... But I've not tasted the results yet. So we're running a little experiment. So Daniela did hers for 40 minutes.
Yeah, because he's only going to do it for 15 minutes,
I'm going to do mine
right?
for 20 minutes.
Which was advised in the magazine.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Now, there are 2 different styles of beer. I understand that. But I'm pretty keen on that extract flavor, whatever the beer is. So I think we're going to get a good sample of what the difference is in what time you put the extract in. And I'm adding about the same amount of extract to mine too, about 8 pounds. So hers was in for 40 minutes of the boil.
Correct.
And mine will be in for just 20 minutes of the boil. And if it kind of gets better and better, I might bump it down to 15 like I just read should be done. You want it in at least enough to sanitize. So that's your 15.
That, and you want to get a hot break.
You
right.
do want the protein break then.
You want to get the protein break, and it starts to look like that egg drop soup thing. Did you boil it with all the water in it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you need to do, too. You don't really want to have a concentrated boil. So you don't want to
Yeah,
we first had all the water in there, and then it boiled for 20 minutes, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
And then we added the extract, and that was actually an issue because we didn't know if we had to turn off the heat or not, and we tried not to because I was pouring and he was stirring, and we thought it could work. It didn't.
It doesn't.
It stick to the bottom now.
Did you have any scorching at all in
Yeah.
the bottom?
Yeah, just a tiny little patch is scorched on the bottom.
Sometimes that's enough to come through in the beer.
Is it really?
I've done that a lot in my extract days.
So that might be a problem, but it was an experiment, and so now we know.
I just was concerned of stopping the boil at 20 minutes into it.
Doesn't matter. You just got to start it back up again.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, now we know because we did get a little burn. I mean, we had a mean whirlpool going in there, so we thought it would be okay.
Oh, the whirlpool was really good.
Yeah.
We got a good whirlpool going on there.
But just
that was a good part of the brew, and we could tell in the end. Justin told me that because all the junk and all the the stuff was in the middle, centered in the middle, and that was really good.
It was.
So that worked just fine for us.
You got a real clean transfer.
Yeah, that's actually true.
It was good. Her beer looks real clean.
Now, my beer is brewed according to the rules of the Reinheitsgebot, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, you don't have anything funny, anything outside of the 4 ingredients in there.
That's great.
Yeah, you're all right.
Yeah.
You were going to. You thought about putting gelatin in there as a clarifier.
And then John told me that's what you do if you don't brew according to the Reinheitsgebot.
And you said no.
No way.
Going
no
straight,
cheating.
Straight German style for you.
And actually, you can't add CO2 either.
Oh, is that right?
Really?
You got to naturally carbonate?
Come on, but CO2 is sort of natural.
It is in the atmosphere.
If you want to be true to it, no, you can't.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. Well, thanks for the hint.
Yeah.
So anyways, we proceeded, and then my mash temperature was 152.
Right, awesome.
Pretty good. And it only dropped down to, I think, 149 after the 30 minutes was over.
Did you use the
mash
blanket?
Yeah. Doc gave us a mash jacket, which just it's fit perfectly to just sit right on top of your bucket, and that guy works real well, Doc. I love it. I love it. So, kept a real nice mash temperature. Only got down to 149 at the end.
Yeah, that thing's seen a lot of mashes. And I hadn't used it in a long time, and I ran across it. I thought, you know what?
Yeah.
Justin might like that.
It is going to get some. It's going to get some use. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to brew again on Tuesday, and I'll be using it again.
Yeah, I like it's vinyl coated, so it doesn't get all nasty.
Do you know where people can get a mash jacket?
Williams Brewing.
Okay,
is it mash jacket?
All right, WilliamsBrewing.com or something probably.
Yeah.
All right, check it out and get. If you're doing mini mash like I do, just in the bucket, I recommend this thing. It really holds the temperature.
Good.
You know.
Back real quick to the extract. One of our listeners, Two Dog, is just saying that he had an experiment going on where he added the first half of it for 45 minutes and then added the last half for 15 minutes.
Nice. I've read that too.
Mm-hmm.
And the theory behind that is that hops need something to hold on to.
That's what you told me.
You don't want to just throw hops in boiling water for the full hour.
What would it do, though?
Well, it's not that it would be harmful. You're basically then making hop tea if it's just boiling water, which is okay. But the theory, and I think it is, a lot of theory, is that the hops need, and Doc, you could probably say what it is. I'm going to say things to bind to,
right.
And you need the extract and the malt in there to do that. Which I felt we were okay with yours, Daniela, because we did the mini mash, and that was in there. If it were an all extract batch, I would have done the same thing that listener just said and put half of the extract in the beginning and then the other half in at 15 minutes to the end.
Yeah, I think actually it's the other way around.
How do you mean?
Well, the wort needs something in it, and it helps with the particulate matter in the hops to churn it around.
Oh, for the wort's sake.
To get more out of your hops and more bittering, you want a thinner solution.
Okay.
So less stuff in it, you're going to get a better hop utilization out of it.
But you're essentially making hop tea then.
But you're still, it's the heat that's going to isomerize the isoacids.
I gotcha. But for the malt and the wort's sake, you need that in there.
It helps to have, the other way.
Okay.
Well, but I don't really understand. What would the hops do to the beer if I didn't have the extract in for the entire boil? What is it if I just boil the hops in the water? Does it do anything? Does it make the beer really bitter, or doesn't do it anything?
No, you get more hop utilization out of it. So that the thicker the beer or the higher the gravity on the wort, you're going to get less hop bitterness into the solution.
Oh, okay.
So that's why with an IPA you got to run really high extra hops in there because it's a very, very thick solution.
Okay.
And it just doesn't like to...
Yeah, I need to know that
like
because I'm not so much into the hoppy, really extreme hoppy flavors, so I need to know how I can balance the hops very nice in my beer.
Well,
so
I think you did a good job because you had the malt in there already, not the extract, but you had...
So it mostly goes the other way. If you want to have more hops in there, you're better off making hop tea. Or and that's what goes into having a full wort boil instead of a concentrated boil.
Right.
You're going to get more out of your hops that way.
Okay.
We got a little follow-up here on the CO2 for the German Reinheitsgebot. What the German brewers do is they recover the CO2 from fermentation to force recarbonate the beer, and that's allowed.
As long as it comes naturally. You just can't back the CO2 truck up to the plant.
That's right. I read that. I remember that now that you mention that too. Which is really interesting because they actually then they have tanks that they store all of that blow-off CO2 from your fermentation. And then they can pump it back into the beer.
No, you know why.
Oh, sorry, I turned you off a second ago, Johnny. So yeah, that's right. Well, you can't do that, Daniela, because we have no way to save the CO2 from fermentation.
All right.
You're gonna have to. You could bottle if you want.
And that's I saw you bottling. I'm not gonna do that.
So you're gonna break that one rule?
I guess I'm in the United States, so it's fine.
Yeah, might as well, right?
How'd the beer taste?
It tasted great.
Yeah, it did.
Don't say that yet.
No, I think it really tasted great.
Smooth.
I like the color of the beer, actually.
Now, mind you that I have no senses right now.
Right.
I'm all stuffed up.
He's all stuffed up. And I think it tasted okay, but I cannot really tell until it's really fermented out because I just do not have too much experience yet. I don't know what it's supposed to taste, really, in this stage of the beer.
I think it's going to be a good beer.
We'll see.
It'll be good.
I'm going to be really
It was a lot of fun, though.
It's like this awesome ale. I'm like, damn you.
She just kicked your ass.
Really, yeah, seriously, I'm serious about it. Yesterday when we did the brewing, and it took us like 6 or 8 hours with getting the ingredients, designing the recipe, brewing, cleaning up. I had such a great time, and I really understand every single guy out there why they are home brewers, because it's just a relaxing, nice thing to do. It takes effort, and it's going to be so much better to drink the beer because you knew you made it yourself, and I had the best time, really.
Awesome.
It was cool.
That's great.
It was very good. All right, on that note, that's a nice note to end the segment and take a little break. How about that? We got Gino from El Toro Brewing Company in with us. He just jumped in here. You want to say hi real quick, Gino?
Yeah, how's it going?
It's going real good. How are you, buddy?
Good, thanks.
Good to have you. Glad you made it down here. Where's El Toro?
We're in Morgan Hill, just south of San Jose.
Okay, gotcha. So a little trek, not too bad.
Yeah, about an hour and change.
Okay. I've had your beer before. It's good.
Thank
you. And we're going to try some when we come back, too. We got Gino brought us a few samples, so we'll taste that. And then, of course, we're doing our Newcastle tasting at the top of the hour. We'll do that at 6. That's a little close to your heart, too, isn't it, Gino? The Newcastle?
Newcastle's a favorite.
Yeah? Is that there was a brewery in England that got you inspired to brew? Was it not Newcastle?
It was Newcastle.
It was Newcastle. Okay, that's what I thought I'd read. So, all right, so we're doing that at 6 o'clock. Get your Newcastles ready, and we'll do our palate tasting for the week. We're gonna take a real quick break. When we come back, we'll talk to Gino and have ourselves a good time. It's the Brewing Network. Thanks for tuning in.
You're listening to the Brewing Network. And now back to the Brewcasters. The Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Yes, sir. Gino Acevedo. Do I have that right, Gino?
Acevedo is Acevedo avocado.
Close enough.
Avocado.
I get all of it.
What'd they call you in school?
Gino.
Just Gino.
No, come on, the ones who...
Not those ones, not your friends, what everybody else call you in school. Gino from El Toro Brewing Company is with us in the studio today, and we're going to talk all about El Toro beers. I did have a segment planned for the news today. I had 3 news stories, which, we started talking about beer, and that's all fine by me. But this one was interesting. You guys want to do it real quick? It's one of these things, it's about the beer law thing. But here's where it's different, because I was going to go off on my normal rant about this thing, right? Like I do.
Yeah.
But
that's why I was holding back my answer.
But I had to stop, and I don't want to go off on my normal rant about this, because I actually think that I don't have probably an educated enough opinion in this case, because it has to do with kids in this one, and not just the underage drinking thing like college kids and things like that, which I'm happy to talk about all day. This one was a little different, and I wouldn't mind just reading you the story real quick, and Gino, you can chime in. Doc, you certainly can. And I'd like to, if a caller wanted to call in, because we've got a couple of minutes before the 6 o'clock tasting, if you callers want to chime in on this too, I just thought it'd be an interesting discussion. I just would kind of like the opinion. And it has to do with Chuck E. Cheese. And Chuck E. Cheese serving beer.
You want me to bring Gino over here? Because she's got a lot of experience in
at the Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah, but not the beer part.
Right. Well,
just the beers before Chuck E. Cheese.
Right. Once you get there, it's all pitchers of soda.
Red Wolf.
Well, the deal is that Chuck E. Cheese kind of decides by region whether or not they're actually going to serve beer at their restaurants. And I don't know how big Chuck E. Cheese is. I know it's nationwide, and I don't know if they're in every state.
They've been around a long time, since I was a teenager, too. So.
Okay. So most of you know Chuck E. Cheese, and it's a pizza place with it's a kid's place. It's all games. You got the plastic ballroom and video games and the whole bit.
I still do.
Some of them John still likes to hang out there, hopefully just because he likes the pizza.
Makes him feel at home.
But they kind of decide by region whether or not they're going to sell beer to the parents. All right. And in this particular region in Tennessee, it was in a town called Decatur. And interestingly enough, I think I've done several news stories from Decatur, Tennessee, by the way, that they're fairly rigid. Chuck E. Cheese withdrew plans to serve beer at its new Decatur restaurant after area church groups complained and started a petition. Lyndon Haggard and his wife Shelley saw a story about the restaurant's plans in the Daily on Sunday. He mentioned it in his Sunday school class of young parents at Oak Grove First Congregational Methodist Church in Trinity. Whew. They decided to start a campaign to stop beer sales before they ever started. Many of us have children, he said. We visit Chuck E. Cheese quite a bit. We knew about other cities with Chuck E. Cheese that offered alcohol, and we were very surprised to see it going on here in Decatur. It didn't matter to the Haggards that the restaurant doesn't promote beer sales, only allows 2 cups per person, and cards everyone who buys one. Haggard started notifying other members and other churches. A buddy started an online petition with the goal of getting 1,000 names that they could prevent the Irving, Texas-based chain from serving alcohol. Haggard called the corporate headquarters on Monday and made his case to company spokeswoman Brenda Holloway. She indicated it was for convenience and that they try not to push it, he said. I told her, in our opinion, it was unacceptable practice to offer alcohol in a place where children were targeted for playtime. She was very pleasant to talk to. I told her we would do whatever it took, including a boycott, to remove alcohol sales. The petition only got up to 100 names, and Chuck E. Cheese decided to go ahead and pull the measure to sell beer at the Decatur location. And they contacted the person who called and said, don't worry about it. We do appreciate your community's concerns, and we're not going to sell beer there. So, of course, I was going to jump right in with my normal rant about, hey, why do you have to police the whole world and sell beer and what's the big deal? But then I thought about it. You know, it really is specifically a kid's place to go. And I thought maybe that there are things that I'm not thinking about because I don't have kids. And I didn't want to go off on my normal tangent. You guys got an opinion about whether or not Chuck E. Cheese should be selling beer? Doc?
No, I'm still reeling by this guy who made himself a pain in the ass. That just pisses me off.
I know, Doc has a little thorn in his side about the whole thing.
Should be the manager.
You know, they've done everything else. 2 beers per person.
Yeah.
If you've ever been a dad and you got to take your kid there to something, maybe it's a birthday party, maybe something like that, or just you got to take your 2 kids to this place. You know what? You can only play so many games, and you just soon sit there and eat your pizza and have a beer, and because the kids don't ever want to leave.
Yeah.
And you're done in about 45 minutes, but the kids would stay there forever.
Right.
As long as you got quarters, they're happy.
So you don't see any negative influence problem happening from, you know, dads drinking a beer at the Chuck E. Cheese?
No, because it's not your neighborhood bar. You wouldn't go there to get hammered.
Yeah.
You don't go there to knock back 10 beers and then go home.
Right.
Unless you're a pedophile, probably, or something. But
then you might. Well, plus I'm thinking, you know, kid sees you drinking a beer at home.
Right.
You know,
maybe
other kids
if they're
don't.
limiting it to 2 per and they're carding everybody.
Yeah.
That's pretty responsible.
888-401-BEER is the number if you want to chime in. Gino, you got anything to say about that?
I've been to Chuck E. Cheese lots of times. I mean, Gina's over here and she's 10 years old, and we've gone. You know, we were talking about going to Chuck E. Cheese on the way here. No, we weren't. But we were talking.
Forget the radio. We're going Chuck E.
We were talking about it today, actually, though, because we were just at a swim meet. We had lots of little kids around us, and it sort of makes me think about how about Little League and things like that. When you go to a Little League function, you always go to the local pizza parlor, Chuck E. Cheese, some of them, or any other Mountain Mike's or whatever, and. You know, the dads or the parents are always allowed to have, you know, a glass of wine over here, a pitcher of beer for the dads, and you never see that I can think of people get out of hand. And yet, what you're doing, if you're being responsible, is you know, promoting responsible drinking, something that's been done for thousands of years and throughout the world.
Yeah,
responsible drinking. Don't keep it in the closet, and then the kids are going to have to find out somewhere, and you don't want them to find out.
Yeah.
At legal drinking age.
Start binging in college because they didn't get their share of it through growing up.
Now, that's my opinion about the responsible drinking deal. Take the European model, Danielle.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we don't have Chuck E. Cheese in Germany, unfortunately, but we have the other guys, you know, like the one with the big M, for example. And since I can recall, they have always sold beer there. And I know it quite well because when we were poor and 16, and legal drinking age in Germany is 16, or 15 in Bavaria for beer, we went to McDonald's.
Beer at McDonald's.
I do not know if they still sell it because I haven't been home in quite some time, but I know for quite a while they did. And one listener actually in a chat room had a very good point. He said, as long as there's another adult to drive home the car with the kids, sober, without having had any beer, it's fine. I mean, it's just beer, you know?
Right.
But they need to be responsible enough for doing that.
Yeah. I think without ranting, my problem with the deal is criminalizing something like beer. Okay, it's not an evil thing in itself. It's what you do with it. It's responsibility. Beer itself shouldn't be banned and shunned and even with kids around, I think treated in a way that it's this big taboo thing because let's face it, it's not. Gino makes his living off of the thing, you know. So do a lot of other people. It's ingrained in many people's cultures. Ours certainly. Germany, I think. I don't know if Germany would exist without beer.
I highly doubt it.
Well, arguably, I mean, if you've read anything on Michael Jackson, some of the other beer historian people, even some of the people argue that the whole reason for civilization, was to make beer.
Right.
That's a good argument
That's a great argument. Best argument ever made in the studio.
All right, let's take a caller, and I think we got Beer Pal on the line here. Beer Pal.
Yo.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing all right. You got an opinion about the beer thing?
You were feeling a little poorly this morning, yes?
Oh, man, it was no good. Did you hear me?
I did not, but I was in the chat room, and everyone was saying... and you were saying how crappy you felt. I hope you feel better.
I appreciate it. Now, I got a frog in my throat. It's been there for a week, and it won't leave.
Did you drink it into submission?
I'm trying. John's beer has actually made me sound a lot better than I did this morning. I think the Blues guys can vouch for that. I was drinking tea this morning thinking that was the right thing to do, and then I realized...
and then you saw me, and then you had to have a beer.
Put your pants on, son, and have a beer. Yeah. You got an opinion about the beer, Chucky?
Well, I was going to mention, and I forgot, and Daniela will attest to this, no doubt, and anybody who's been to Germany, you go to a Brauhaus, and it's families in there, and it's a big social thing, and there's little kids running up and down alongside the tables, and everybody's drinking and having a good time, and people aren't getting out of control or nasty or stupid.
Yeah.
And it because kids are brought up that way. I mean, you go to a place like that, you drink beer like we drink Coke with a meal, I mean, and the kids, and there's no stigma attached, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And the kids don't have to go out when they become teenagers and get hammered.
Yeah. And that's what I mean about the criminalization of beer, is that it becomes stigmatized if you treat it that way.
I mean, you see it with me and all my friends. We grew up around beer. And none of my friends abuses alcohol. And, now they are almost 30 years old. Yeah. None of them. Really, neither one does abuse alcohol now. So it's not that you get so used to it that you drink it all the time. And Beer Paul is right. A beer garden is a family place. Yeah. People go with their kids, and they have playgrounds there, and everybody is just sitting there and relaxing and having a beer. Sure. Big deal.
Yeah. And by abuse, you mean like pouring out a half-full pint, right? Nobody would do that.
Nobody would do that. Yeah. You got this little story about that. Yeah. Drink everything to the bottle.
Yeah. I did that. You know how when you drink out of a bottle, at least mostly in the U.S., you don't drink that last tiny sip because it's your spittle.
Because you learned that in high school.
All right. Well, I stick to that. If I'm drinking it, I'll drink the last bit out of a glass. But there's something about the bottle. It requires extra backwash somehow.
That stigma.
So I'm in Germany and I'm drinking out of the bottle and I pour out the last little bit. I'm around like 5 of Daniela's friends. Just had met them that night. They all looked at me like I was Satan. We're like, what did you just do?
That does sound weird. I've never done that. Even with homebrew, when you've got the sludge on the bottle, I always get to, just before you get to that, swirl it and finish the rest off.
Finish it?
Yeah. That's hardcore. Man.
And I totally agree with
that's where all the vitamins are.
It cleans you out the next morning.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. I don't know. That's true. Wow. Hey, thanks, Beer Pal.
I just thought it was the hop.
All right, guys.
See you, buddy.
No, it's the yeast.
Extra fiber.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I just wanted to discuss that because I really was about to go ahead and make my own opinion. I thought, well, maybe there's something I don't get because I don't have kids. But apparently not.
I just don't like the prohibitionist attitude of that, and that's just wrong.
Well, I thought we were all about, around here it's supposed to be acceptance and all things in moderation, but we can't do all things in moderation, including alcohol?
Yeah. Now, does the Chuck E. Cheese here sell beer, do you know?
The Chuck E. Cheese here.
Well, yours, anywhere in our area.
Yeah, they actually, there's 2 of them in our area now. There's the one in South San Jose, which is Chuck E. Cheese University, at least it used to be.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the big one.
Okay.
And yeah, they do have, the industrial beers, on tap, and probably Red Hook, although I haven't been there in a long time.
And
then there's
UCCC.
Yeah.
University of California, Chuck E. Cheese.
I want that shirt.
Yeah, you see Chuck E. Cheese when the fog lifts. And then then there's one down in Gilroy, and I haven't been to that one yet.
Okay.
But I expect they probably do. I mean, how can you tolerate all those,
Right, that's
my little
point.
Kids running around with, at least...
That was my point in general, was how can you tolerate all the kids running around being crazy with that?
Some of us. I mean, some people have more tolerance.
Well, you get, at 11 in the morning, no.
Yeah.
But when you get, 4 o'clock, something like that, you're in there. Every Chuck E. Cheese I've been in, because it's a pizza place.
Sure.
And I've never actually been in a pizza place where they didn't have beer.
Right.
It just kind of goes. Maybe it's an American thing. I don't know.
Right.
But everyone's that I've ever been in had beer.
Yeah.
I never think of Chuck E. Cheese as a pizza place when we go there. I always think of it as just an arcade to let the kids run loose.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you don't have to watch them because you're stamped on their hand.
That's right. They can't
your
leave.
Number, the kid's number, so they can't get out. So you can let them run around until.
See, that's all the more reason to serve beer because you don't got to pay attention to your kids.
You're captive too.
Like the walls are even padded at these places. I think it's the safest place on earth, right?
The one in San Jose, they got like an armed cop at the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you have a point too. It's like, they're running around crazy. Oh, there's pizza here. Pizza's done. And you got to drag the kids off the machines to eat some pizza before you throw them back.
And it's so good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's that soda cracker with a red stain on it.
Oh, jeez. Well, I don't know. I guess it's...
And those little brown things on top they call sausage meat.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Is that what that is?
Soylent Green is
People!
I guess it's a good thing that the company listens to the community if this particular community had a problem with it. Although I would be concerned about how much of the community vocalized their opinion.
Well, but they only got 100 signatures. I wonder if they're going to get established, find out that the restaurant's going to be hurting because they can't sell beer in there and maybe they'll reinstate it.
Well, it's Tennessee, you said, too, right? And isn't that one of those weird states that has still a bunch of dry counties?
And absolutely, and that's what I was thinking, but it's apparently not in one. Otherwise, they wouldn't even have thought of it. But you're right. I mean, it might be right next door to a dry county. Yeah. People might actually go to the Chuck E. Cheese to get hammered if they're if they live in a dry county, and that's the closest watering hole. Well, all right. Well, I'm glad to hear that because I had just, my opinion was the same, although I didn't want to offend parents across the world by saying, hey, how else are you going to tolerate all those kids? But I got two dads here saying the same thing, so I feel all right with that.
Well, my kids, let's go here, let's go there, and like Mountain Mike's. My kids love Mountain Mike's. It's got arcade in there. I just let them go. I bring a book with me. It's usually a brewing book or something, and I sit and they have a pretty good selection of beers. I'll just have a couple of beers while they're out playing. When I'm done with my second beer, it's time to go.
Right.
And the kids aren't paying any attention to us at all anyway, unless they need more change to get tokens.
That's when they come right back down. Can I have more tokens?
Can I have another beer?
No, I've never heard them say that. Not that they never get one.
We say that to Mom.
That's
so she can cough up the money in case you forgot your wallet on the table.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works. The guys are almost like the kids in that sense. Can I have another 50 cents for beer? I have $3.
So, honey, you going to the salad bar again? Could you give me another beer?
I think you've done that before with me.
Yeah. Make it the 22-ounce size this time. All right. Well, good enough. I just thought it was interesting and be fun to do that. So, why don't we get to our tasting, John? Can we do that? We got to do some Newcastle tasting at 6:00, and that's what we like
Brown.
To do. Now, Gino, here's the deal. Go ahead, Danielle.
Yeah, and just referring to some technical issues here. Some people have extreme buffering, but it's fine. It should be fine, right? Everything is going smoothly on our part.
Everything looks fine here.
Yeah.
It's you guys, not us.
It's all going out where it's supposed to go. It's just whether or not you're able to get it. I'm looking at the screen right now, and it looks great.
Oh,
and,
boy.
Lots of listeners, though. That could be it, too.
Yeah,
a lot of people are tuned in.
This is why I'm bringing it up. Because
actually, no, that shouldn't. Our server, that doesn't matter with how many listeners. It's probably, tell your wife to stop downloading porn in the other room, and you might be able to.
That hurt.
And you might be able to get.
She's using all your bandwidth.
Yeah, exactly. Surprise! You can't download too many. All right, never mind. We'll just leave it at that. Gino, just so you know, the deal with our tasting that we do every week is not really to evaluate the beer, whether we like it or not. It's to help people out with their palates and identify different flavors within the beer. So anything significant that you identify, feel free to chime in. Tell us where on your palate you tasted, anything like that, and that's the whole deal with it.
So all that super peppery steak and garlicky
that you just had?
Mushrooms and then the deep fried greasy stuff, that's going to...
Yeah. Well, that just awoke in your sense.
So basically, just try to deconstruct this beer for people.
And I'm going to say right now, it's all up to you guys because I really can't smell or taste anything at this point. My nose is clogged.
Well, so what was the born on date on this now?
Yeah.
Oh, it does smell skunky.
Yes, it's very skunky.
Yeah. That's coming through my stuffed up nose.
It has some of that, but it doesn't take long. Something in a clear bottle. It only takes a few minutes actually to start the. Start something going skunky like this.
Is that right?
Yeah, but in Newcastle, they always complain about the clear bottles, and it's been touted that maybe they use hop extract instead of real hops to get
Clearly
through
not.
there. But obviously not. This is actually the first skunky Newcastle I've ever had. I love Newcastle. It's one of my favorite beers. Always has been. This is one I smelled. I was like, wow, sorry, that's a lot of skunky going on. And I've actually never had one hit me in the face like that with that much skunkiness. So
yeah, it really hits you.
They won't move from the clear bottle, though, because it's very product recognition thing.
Sure. And skunky is a sulfur compound.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
It's hydrogen sulfide?
It's a mercaptan.
It does go away.
Methyl mercaptan. Same stuff as in skunks and onions.
Yeah, it's the exact same. We've done reports on that too, where it is really the same compound.
Have you ever had Newcastle in cans before?
No, and I actually didn't know it was in cans.
It's hard to find.
They were asking me about it in the chat room this morning, and I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never seen Newcastle in a can.
Nicer place you can find it in the kegs too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's great on tap. It's just awesome. I like Newcastle then too.
They had it on tap at the restaurant I was just at.
Is that right?
At Tahoe Joe's.
Is that what you had?
I didn't have any beers in it.
You had milk.
Had milk. No, actually, I had Diet Coke.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, you guys are going to have to tell me what you taste. All I can get out of it in my debilitated palate at this moment is a heck of a lot of malt. It doesn't taste as skunky to me as it smells.
No, the hops are low.
I get a nutty flavor.
Caramely.
Yeah.
Nutty, I think, is
thin
a trademark.
Thin in body.
Thin in body. Yeah, that's low carbonation too, so that helps.
It's very even on the palate, isn't it? It's not in the front or the back. It's kind of right across the whole thing there.
No skunkiness on the listener's side.
No,
some have skunkiness, some don't.
Yeah, I guess this is the first one in many of these that I've ever actually smelled the skunk coming out of it.
Now what's the deal? Hop extract will reduce the oxidation skunkiness happening?
Well, they think there's less compounds that would possibly do. It's all speculation because they won't tell you what they do to do that.
Okay.
Actually, with hop extract, if you just use only hop extract, you won't get skunkiness at all. There's nothing in the hop extract because they remove the molecule in there that will convert to the hydrogen to the sulfur compound that gives you the
that's what the speculation has been with these. That's why they can use the clear bottles and get away with it.
Like an MGD, clear bottles, it doesn't go skunky.
Gotcha. But now this would negate the fact that they use extract because this one's skunky.
That or it's been a really bad place for a really long time.
Interesting.
John wanted me to ask where the people are located that do not have the skunky ones, and we got Illinois, Massachusetts, and what's NE again?
Nebraska.
And Pennsylvania. It's PA, right?
But I don't know. I mean, we get them non-skunky here, too. So it just depends on the shipment and how long it's been hanging around, I
John
guess.
just picked a bad one. That's all.
Bad.
Well, and once it's refrigerated, too.
Yeah, it doesn't taste... Well, when you saw it, it was refrigerated.
That's true.
But there's a lot of things that go into this beer. It's usually a mixture of two beers. And... a lot of caramel, a lot of maltiness is basically built on the malt,
and real mild on the roastiness. The roastiness comes through, but it's mild. For a brown ale, it's not one of the things that comes out and hits you right in the beginning. You get it pretty much secondary, but it's there.
Yeah,
but it's mild roastiness.
And it helps round it out because there isn't a lot of hops in there, so you want to balance it a little bit with some more of the maltiness.
Gotcha.
Like some brown ales will tend towards almost a porter-like, where roastiness is the first thing you get, and then the malt stuff comes through.
Yeah.
This one, the malt's the first thought, and then the roastiness comes through a very close second, but still there, but not intense, just
right.
And it balances nice, so it's not so sweet. It comes through, and then just the mouthfeel, it's fairly thin.
Yeah. I like that, actually.
Drink a lot of it.
You can go two ways with the brown ale. It can be a real thick type of a brown flavor, especially in homebrew when we do malty browns and things like that. But I kind of like that it's a thin brown. You get a lot of the flavor, but not so thick.
It's very English.
Yeah.
We have a listener here from Concord who has a not skunky one.
A not skunky one?
Well, I got screwed.
Yeah.
It goes $9.
Now, okay, with the skunky issue, I'm glad that you mentioned that it can happen just in a matter of minutes of sitting out in a clear bottle like that. What about in my carboy? Because what I'll do a lot of times, I keep my carboys covered, the whole time during fermentation. But what I'll do is I'll move them to my kitchen about 2 hours before I rack because I want to move them and then let that settle out again. And occasionally I'll just leave them uncovered for the 2 hours, but the kitchen lights will be on.
You're probably okay.
You don't think it's getting oxidized in that 2 hours there?
It's not oxidation. Skunky. It's a conversion of and I can't think of the compound exactly.
It's the hop compound,
but
it's free radical.
But it breaks down, and it's basically one of those ends that's connected to the sulfur that turns into one of those sulfur
compounds.
Turn into one of those sulfur that turns into the skunky flavor, and then once that action starts, the reaction due to it's photoreactive.
Yeah.
It's like a catalyst. It will keep going, even if it started. Once it starts, you cover it up, it'll keep going.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, you could put it in the light for a few minutes, then you could put it in the refrigerator, and even if it's not going to affect it that much.
Yeah.
If you drink it within a few minutes, it'll have just affected a little bit. But if you drink that same bottle an hour or two or a day later, it will have changed a lot.
Right.
So
I'm thinking my
possible,
2 hours, it's
depending on the beer too, because if it's a darker beer, the light's not going to have been able to penetrate and affect very much. So even the catalytic reaction that started might not go very far.
Gotcha.
It depends on time.
It also has to do with the intensity of the light.
Right.
Yes.
If it's been sitting on a pallet with just fluorescent lights, it's going to take a while. If you put it in the sun, you're dead.
It's going to go right through.
Right. The sunlight's got so many different wavelengths, and it's very intense. It's going to hit it.
Right.
It needs a certain wavelength. I think I forgot, 640, something like that. Some weird wavelength that's got to hit it.
It's something in the ultraviolet because they say, like Heineken that sits on the shelf or Corona or something like that, a lot of times it's sitting on the shelf and not protected, or its six-pack holder is way down low, so it's getting a lot of exposure to the fluorescent lamps that are sitting there on the shelf, hitting it.
Right.
And that alone can
that'll
start the
do it.
reaction.
So it tends to time, intensity, things like that. No, don't worry about your carb weight.
Well, but I think you bring up two good points here. One is that it doesn't take that much time. So if my carboy's sitting there for 2 hours, I got fluorescence in the kitchen, you know.
Still the inverse square law.
Yeah.
So it's still far enough away from that. It's
Okay,
not so
but
much
it's
that.
not so.
I think it's more the people that are fermenting it with an open carboy uncovered.
Okay.
Stay away from that. Intense sunlight right away.
Okay.
It'll do it that much quicker.
And how long does it take until you drink your beers once they're done? I mean,
Yeah, not too long.
not more than a couple months.
Tomorrow. It's really not that long.
So a lot of it does have to do with the staling qualities too, and that it's not going to hang around as long.
But just so as not to be confused, oxidation's a totally different
Yes, it
thing.
is.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you for that, because I always confused it too. And then the other good point that you made, I like that you've noted that it's really once it starts, that's the catalyst, and it'll keep going even when you take it out of the light. So be extra careful then, because you can't just keep it in light, take it out, you've stopped the process. Once it starts, it's going to keep going, as Dave is saying. Gino, is saying here. So it's a good point.
Just keep it covered.
Keep it covered.
Same thing with buying 6-packs and stuff from the store. Don't sit them on the hood of your car for a little while and then put it into your...
Right.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
Get it in that brown bag and keep it covered.
Don't put it in the back of the pickup either. You put it in the
On the
front
way
seat.
home, yeah.
Put your wife in the back of the pickup. Put the beer in the front seat. That's the deal. Or the kids. Whatever you got to move to get the beer in the front seat, that's what you do.
Same thing happens when you're drinking out of the glasses in a patio. You know, you can drink out of your glass in a patio. Drink an IPA especially, because that's got a lot of hops in it. A lot of stuff to react. You can sit there and you probably go to pubs and stuff and sit in the patio and then kind of go, oh, where's that skunk? And when you first drink, go, I didn't notice that before.
Yeah. You know, I can't say that I've had that happen, but I'm going to be on the lookout for it now, because that's an interesting point.
He drinks it too fast.
I don't have it happen because I'm like, 5 minutes, waiter, beer, please.
So why don't you just bring me 2?
Yeah, make it 2.
Or brewfests and stuff outside.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm gonna be on the lookout for that. That's a good point.
You can make it happen if you now that you know. You just go.
Exactly.
Here goes.
I'm gonna let it sit there. I'm gonna taste it first. I'm gonna let it sit for a little while.
Stare at it.
Yeah. I gotta do it to somebody else's beer, because mine's probably skunky naturally. So I have to do it for
Or you go to one of the pubs and then you drink your beer half down and then you say, this beer is all skunky.
It's terrible.
I'd like another, please.
I demand a full pint. Daniela, go ahead.
Somebody wants to know if the skunkiness of a flavor of a beer does have to do from going from cold to warm, warm to cold, and so on and so on.
It's totally photoreactive.
Yes.
It has to do with the light and not with the temperature.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
What sort of things do happen with the cold to hot, hot to cold? In lagers and whatnot. I know
which
you're not
point?
supposed to do that. At any point. There are negative effects on a beer if you warm it up, chill it, warm it up, you know.
Especially when it's still fermenting, you don't want to shock the yeast back and forth.
But,
that's why I ask him at what point.
But let's say you have a 6-pack, you put it in the fridge on Super Bowl Sunday, but you didn't get to it, then you put it out in the cupboard, then you put it back in the fridge, but then you still didn't drink it, you put it back. Does anything happen?
I don't think it's so much that you're going cold to hot, hot to cold, as much as you're how long are you having it stored hot? Hot doesn't store well.
Okay.
There's one other thing with craft beers, and I'm going blank on the technical stuff on it, but if something hasn't totally converted during fermentation and whoever was brewing it stopped its fermentation early because that's where they wanted to finish it off at, and there were still some of those you probably remember the
residual sugars,
the things that turn into diacetyl later but aren't diacetyl yet.
Yeah.
With heat can actually cause that conversion, so you get the buttery and butterscotch. You can get that after, even though when it was originally bottled and fresh and kept cold or in a keg, it allowed it to heat up. That I'll probably come to me later, but that conversion can happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because those compounds have been left in it by stopping the fermentation a little early.
It's a real simple word. I'm just
that's okay. All right, well, I get the point too, and I'm an idiot, so I think you explained it well.
Well, it's one of the I do that. I'll test this like on my own brews to make sure that the conversions have happened, and I've done long enough diacetyl rest. I'll take a beer that should be done, that I expect's done, but I'll just want to make sure, and I'll put it in a pint glass or something smaller, and I'll put it in a warm water bath of about 150, 60 degrees, and it should take about 5 minutes, or by the time it heats up to about an even temperature, a warm temperature, a conversion should have happened, which would have given me that taste. So that's the thing. The main question on, can anything else happen from hot to cold, cold to hot? That's one of the things that comes to mind, just in case something wasn't.
Okay.
As long as the yeast is still active, it's going to do that.
Okay. All right. But it's not the skunky flavor, to give you the real simple answer to.
No, it's other things. There's a lot of compounds in there going on.
Someone else that's listening will probably think of the words I'm looking for.
Probably.
Oh, I know that. I just found it.
They'll Google it.
They're talking about a lot of technical stuff right now. They're throwing stuff at me like light oxidation ?
Yeah, that's me saying light oxidation, and that's not something that exists.
Oh. Oh, but they say light doesn't cause oxidation. Oxygen causes oxidation.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah,
that's right.
Okay. And they corrected me on that already.
Okay.
So,
and how about not using oxygen absorbing caps?
When you're bottling your beer, you're saying here. I don't even know about oxygen-absorbing caps.
I've yet to hear that theory proved yet.
What's the theory?
It basically has to do with how Fix had a big deal about that.
Okay.
George Fix, he had a big write-up on that one. It's how much oxygen is actually left in the head space.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Right.
And there's different ways of getting out of that one. And you purge the head space with CO2 to get that out of there. And you shouldn't really need the oxygen caps.
But why do they call them oxycaps?
Well, there's another reason for that. Besides just absorbing the oxygen that's already in the beer, one of the things, depending on how long a beer sits on a shelf or how long you want its shelf life to be, there's CO2 inside the bottle and there's oxygen air outside the bottle, and the caps, the plasticky caps, are somewhat permeable to gases. So the gases inside and outside want to be basically, by nature, the same thing. So oxygen and CO2 will trade places over time, very slowly, but over time.
Okay.
With the oxy-absorbing caps, the oxygen trying to get in will get absorbed in the cap, rather than being able to make it into the bottle, which then can go into the beer. It takes a long time, but if you want a little bit more shelf life on your beer, you use those. Right. I use oxygen.
You
caps.
do? Okay.
But like what you'd said, too, you try to cap on foam, which when the foam's coming up in the bottle, as you're filling your bottle, on a carbonated beer that's filled in the bottle, not one that's going to age in the bottle and carbonate in the bottle.
Gotcha.
Well, you cap on the foam, which will drive out hopefully a lot of the oxygen. However, just in putting your fill tube down into so put your fill tube down into the bottle, you're bringing oxygen down in there in small amounts too, air, which has oxygen in small amounts. So you're always going to get some.
Okay.
You're trying to get a minimal amount. There's other things too people do. They'll put liquid nitrogen. Some people use liquid nitrogen. They'll drip it in the bottles just before going to the fill tubes, and that'll drive out all the oxygen. It's just very little bits amounts of liquid oxygen.
Or counter pressure bottle fillers will
suck out.
purge it. This all has mostly to do with shelf life and things, and most people that homebrew don't deal too much with that. They're brewing great beers because they're drinking them quick.
Yeah.
But they're going to stale a lot faster the more oxygen you have in there, and you're always going to have some.
Well, and it's important to remember, too, that when you're fermenting in the bottle, when you're doing your carbonation in the bottle, you're using oxygen in the yeast, and the yeast likes the oxygen, and it's sucking up the oxygen for you.
Gotcha.
That's why you'll have less oxygen.
So the yeast will actually, the yeast will eat it up.
Okay. Oh, that's a good point there. By bottle conditioning, you're kind of eliminating your oxygen trouble there.
Reducing
Although, if you're going to then age your beer for a year or so without those oxy caps, then you could the oxygen could still be transferring. Is it an industry standard to use the oxygen preventing caps? Or
I know a lot of brewers that use it. I don't know how standard it's. I think they're used more often than not, and I don't have any numbers as to who uses what. I just know I use them, and they're pretty common.
So, John, when I go to B3 and I buy I just say, give me a bag of caps. I'm not getting the oxygen
say, give me the
caps.
cheapest bag of caps you have.
I mean, I still can't explain, though, how they work, though. What's the makeup of them? Why do they absorb, or why do they prevent oxygen going in and out? I can't explain that.
Well, it's like the
Don't even try.
It's the flux capacitor.
But
that's from back in the future, isn't it?
Yeah, the customer wants to know that, though.
Well, it's a little bit like that little baggie of things that come in your new tennis shoes when you buy them.
Right.
It's there to keep your tennis shoes from being all soaky and
Yeah, but you don't know how that
There's
works.
got to be something on the sealant, though. The
You're asking me chemical stuff again?
You just know it's supposed to be there, and that's what's important. That little stupid bag
I want
of
to know
silicone.
pay extra for it. It's going to work.
Yeah, exactly. And if I get shoes that don't have that stupid bag in there, I'm taking them back. Go ahead, Danielle.
We have the word that you were looking for, and I'm going to try to pronounce it. It's vinylidiketones.
That's it.
Okay.
The ketones. That's what I was trying to think of.
He spelled it out for me how I'm supposed to pronounce it. That's so nice. Thank you, Halifax, for that.
That's right. That's actually what I was looking at. It was the something ketone.
Very good. And then we have a question for you regarding the shipping again. Is shipping in carboys going to be effective on not having the skunky flavors in the beer?
Shipping in carboys?
Yeah, so that it's all dark and stuff. I don't know.
I mean, fermenting in carboys.
No, cardboards.
Cardboard.
Yes.
I was like, wow.
Oh, you mean like...
Gino, she's a foreigner. You got to give her a little room.
It's cute.
That's not funny.
Shipping in cardboard. Well, it's going to block the light, isn't it?
That's right.
Anything that blocks the light, and it's also said grab your beer from the darkest part of the shelf.
Good point. I tried it, yeah.
So like way back.
Way
there?
in the back on the bottom. Grab it off of there, or in the back of the cooler.
That's a good point.
Plus, also from having worked at a store before, and my pops used to work at stores for years when I was a kid. He made me like work. They always, when they restock shelves, everything that's old goes to the front of the shelf. Everything that's new goes to the back of the shelf. This is especially true for bread and milk, folks. So when you buy your bread and milk, because otherwise they got to throw it out once the expo date passes. So always grab your bread from the back of the shelf and grab your beer from the back of the shelf too, because it's likely that that's where they put the freshest stuff.
If it's high volume stuff, you don't have to worry about it anyway.
That's true. It's moving.
Milk too,
but. Yeah, definitely with the milk. You'll notice, even if you look at the milk
butter
shelf,
too.
You'll notice the expo dates on the front are much sooner than the expo dates on the back. So just check it out.
Well, if you buy it in bulk, like, are you supposed to say names? I guess we can, right?
Sure.
So like, we sell to Costco in some of the stores. Costco has like incredibly high volume, so you get anything from there. Plus there's no 6-pack showing, they're just all boxed up. But they go through like pallets a week per store, so.
Of your beer?
Well, each store will go through about at least one pallet a week. If they're not going through one pallet a week, they're not keeping it. And they only
How many cases is on a pallet?
60.
Wow, that's nice.
Good turnaround.
So you don't got to worry too much about that. Although they are
fresh. The point there is it's fresh.
Although it's warm.
Yeah, but it's going through inside of like they don't overhead more than they can go through in about a week or two's time.
Okay.
So if you see like pallets and pallets of some other beers up on the shelf, they only have all those beers up on those pallets because that's how many they're going through in about a week or two's time.
Gotcha.
So it's going to be warm, but there's every grocery store you go to is storing their beer in the back room warm.
Gotcha. Okay. Daniela, did you have something else?
Yeah, I got a follow up for John for the oxygen caps again. Somebody's saying that they get activated by getting them wet.
That's right. True, they do.
Yeah, Which you have to do anyway because you need to sanitize your caps, don't you?
Yeah.
So
that's a big debate.
It is
about whether or not you have to sanitize your caps?
No, it's whether if you're activating them too quickly by sanitizing them, and some people do, some people don't. I sanitize mine.
I do mine right before I bottle.
Yeah, I would do it when I was bottling. I would actually have the bottle in one hand, dip the cap in the other hand, and then put it right on.
Well, there's a magnet on your capper, so just put the cap on the capper itself, submerge it in your sanitizer, and then cap it.
Yeah, so you're immediately getting it wet. It's not like sitting out at all.
It's like a minute time.
The oxygen absorption rate of those caps it's very, very slow.
Okay.
You could probably soak it. I don't know length of time, but I would think you could probably soak for a day and not have to worry about it because then it's going to have to absorb. If you got it soaking inside some sort of solution, it's going to have to absorb oxygen, and it's going to have to absorb it through the solution, which isn't going to have that much oxygen in it anyway.
Okay.
But the rate's really slow.
Okay.
So I wouldn't worry about it.
Now this is a great
Otherwise,
segue.
That's a good point, though.
Otherwise, it wouldn't have shelf life.
Right.
I mean, I buy my caps by the pallet. And it takes me about a year to go through a whole pallet of caps.
Okay.
If it could absorb oxygen even with a relatively low humidity, it would reduce it would make the ones I got towards at the end of the year totally worthless.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard from the manufacturers that that's true. So.
And for sanitizing your caps, what do you do it immediately before? I'm sure you have a capping machine if you're doing that kind of volume, but do they sanitize immediately before they go on the bottle?
I don't sanitize the caps. I take the caps straight from the box right into the slider that I've got a Mahian filler.
Really?
And it goes right under the slider, right onto the bottles, and then we just they're capping on foam, so
gotcha.
Right. And then my wife, who's usually unloading them, will sit there and shake the bottles anyway.
How come your wife has to do the hard part?
That's the easy part. She doesn't have to monitor the little knobs and things.
Gotcha.
And the fob controls and the fill rate and all
the thingamabob.
She doesn't want it because it's like a slot machine for her. She's putting the caps down the chutes. It's like putting quarters in the machine, and then she wants to go to Tahoe every time we bottle.
Every bottling day
because she's feeling hot. She's getting payoff every time.
And then she'll drop a whole thing of caps, which is a bunch of money. She's like, I'm like, what?
Whoa!
I won.
Winner!
Just won the Progressive, Gino.
You got to put a bell on. Put a bell and a light on the top.
Yeah. So that every time it drops, you put a sensor on the floor, so that when she drops it, you do get a little alarm going off.
But at least, you know what?
Kids do that job too, though. We'll have the kids up there, and
But if you're playing that machine, you don't have to wait for a beer.
No, the short fills are your beers, or the miscaps are.
Yeah. Unlike in Tahoe, Tahoe, you have to be waiting for that beer.
Unless you're on the dollar machines and you're putting a lot in them.
Yeah, then they're right on you.
Yeah.
All right, here's what I want to do. Today's main topic, although we've got some great topics going so far, so we'll keep entertaining questions if you have them, and it's 888-401-BEER if you want to call in. What we want to talk a lot about today is sanitation and some different techniques and things that we use in different ways. But of course, first I want to talk to Gino about your beers and what kind of lineup you have and where people can find it, and then maybe we'll use you as an example as we talk about our sanitation and figure out some of your procedures. Although they'll, I'm sure, be a little different than a home brewer, but you used to be a home brewer, so you can help us either way. What kind of lineup you guys got? How many beers does El Toro serve?
I've got 5 flagships, but I make I haven't even counted all that I make, but I've make or do make a lot, and I've got a whole bunch more in my head that I'm getting ready to make because of some changes that we're doing with the pub or brewery that we'll talk about.
Nice, okay.
As we get going.
Great.
Sounds like a home brewer.
Yeah. I like that.
Well,
I guess only on tap.
Okay, I'll back into this one. We're getting ready to open up a pub pretty soon. By this summer, we should be open. I've got a little 3-barrel system that I bought. We call a little pilot system, a little pretty thing that sets up so everyone that looks at it will go, oh, that's cool. It's a nice copper system.
You brew on that? Yeah,
No, I just got this thing. I went up to Oregon and checked it out and went and had it shipped down. It's a nice. Our regular system is a 20 hectoliter, 17-barrel system, about 600 gallons a batch approximately.
Okay.
Approximately. And this new system is like 100 gallons a batch. So with a bigger system, you can't just mess around and do whatever you want when you want to do it.
Yeah.
Which I sort of miss doing because I like doing that.
Sure.
Like caramel candy on the shelf. I'm throwing that in my brew. I can't do that. Yeah. It's like
feta cheese.
No.
No, I'm not.
Sorry.
Candy cane, but no. Anything sitting around sometimes went into the beers in the homebrew days. But with this new little 3-barrel system, we plan on brewing all kinds of stuff. I haven't brewed an Imperial Stout. I can't remember when.
Oh, cool.
And one of my favorites, and I haven't been able to brew it on a big system because it's harder to move compared to the other lineups I had. You asked my lineups. I've got my Poppy Jasper Amber, which is my main beer.
Okay.
I sell a lot of that one. That's the one that goes to Costco and Safeway and some other places like that, Bevmo. And I brewed that one 5-1 over everything else. It's similar to this Newcastle Brown. It's a higher body than this is.
Okay.
Although I've dried it out a little bit, it's still got more body than the Newcastle does here. It's about the same in color, about the same in roastiness. Maybe mine is just a teeny bit more, but I still am not real highly roasty. And unhoppier, more tended towards the California hop palate, although not super highly hopped. It's still a little more sweet fruity than it is spicy hoppy.
Good balance in
but
there.
It's got a good bitter balance, because the people that don't like bitter beers will drink mine and go, bitter. And it's like, this one's not that bitter.
Yeah, okay.
Like a 19 IBU, it's not bitter.
Gotcha.
So,
but that's your most popular beer.
The Poppy Jasper, yeah. It sells all over around here, all over the Bay Area, San Francisco. It's a big beer.
Nice.
So that's my main one. I have a Golden Ale, which is an English Pale. It's won me a couple JBF awards, Great American Beer Festival, both in English category, Classic English Brown, or Classic English Pale.
Okay.
God, what is in that? Double buck.
Did
you adulterate that with something else?
Attaboy, Johnny.
I did my job.
And it's also been summer, English summer ale.
Please?
Here, hang on.
Here we go. Thanks. All right.
I'll give you back to your Johnny 5-0 music for you.
That's right. We're bringing it back right now.
5-0 Doppelbock by Johnny P. Doing a number on us.
Taking care of our guests. One beer at a time.
Sorry, Gino.
All right.
So,
and your second flagship.
Then, that was the El Toro Oro was my English Pale Ale. Then, I speak with the lisp anyway. It's along with my other, I could do accents.
Nice.
Do it.
She say, we could do like the Hosers beers, because that's what I used to all the time brew. So, I love do too.
Nice.
So, then, I brew IPAs a lot, actually. That's like one of my more popular ones now. I sell it all, throughout this area, and, actually Wisconsin goes through a bunch of it. I have this little specialty, chain of stores called Brennan's in Wisconsin, and they'll get a pallet about, every other month they'll get 70 cases.
Nice.
So, and if you go to like Pub Crawler or something like that, or one of the other, there's another beer ratebeer.com.
Yeah.
The people from the Midwest are the ones rating my beer.
That's great. How wide, aside from Wisconsin, how wide is your distribution?
Well, we used to go out to Washington too when A&D used to exist as a distributor over in the on the peninsula, but they're gone. So they're the ones that used to kind of ship further out towards Hawaii and stuff. But now it's California, from Bakersfield all the way up to the Oregon border, and out towards Tahoe and Sacramento, Fresno, Bakersfield.
Okay.
Like that. And then just leapfrog out to Wisconsin.
Okay. Nice. Because we have a lot of Midwest listeners, too, and East Coast, so they're always asking, can we get the beer out there? So.
And in Wisconsin, they carry pretty much everything we make. Okay. And sometimes stuff that I don't even have out here, like my peach ale. I haven't sold a lot of it out here, but they specially asked for it.
Wow.
And we said, well, if we have to overhead the labels, we're not going to do that. So, we'll buy the labels for you. Okay. Because it's not that big a deal to make. It's just overheading all the other infrastructure stuff it takes to package a product. I mean, that's a big deal in commercial brewing, is all the stuff you have to overhead. Right. So, but I make also IPA, a double IPA. I take my Poppy Jasper, and then inside my converted Hop Stevens kegs, I'll toss some hops inside the bunghole there and make extra hoppy Poppy.
All right, you're going to have to come back to that, because I don't know what you just said, but it sounds cool.
Extra hoppy Poppy Jasper?
Yeah, well, how you did it. You have special kegs that you do that in? Is that what you're saying?
Old Hoff Stevens kegs. They look like the Hams kegs. They don't look like Sankey kegs. They're the fat ones. Look like a stainless steel barrel.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's the Hoff Stevens one. He's got some old ones that he doesn't know what else to do with.
Oh, okay.
Well,
and they have a bunghole.
To use those. Until like maybe 10 years ago, everybody used those, except for the Bud Miller Coors guys.
Right.
Because no one could afford the other ones, really. So everyone bought the old... Everybody used them prior to the straight wall kegs. I mean, they were from Hams and
Schlitz, and everybody had them. And they're usually a bottom draw and top
that's
CO2.
Golden Gate. That's Golden Gate. The Hoff Stevens have the little screw on the top with the two holes. But it could have been either of those, because it's got a place that could have been on.
Did it still have the cork bung?
The bung hole in the side, and they could weld that shut. But mine have that, but the top is Sankey, which is the standard American tapper top.
Gotcha.
So what I do, you wanted to go, okay.
Yeah.
What I do with that one is, in the bunghole, I'll do one of two things. One, I'll use hop extract, aroma tabs. They're like a form of hop extract that's dry, and I'll toss, anywhere from 3 to 5 through the bunghole, and then bung it shut, and then fill it up with beer, and then that'll hop the beer, and it's a relatively clean way of doing it.
Okay.
It gives you a real strong hop flavor and aroma that'll just kick you right in the nose as soon as you go into it.
Did you bring one of those for us?
No, because I don't package that one. It's
you just keep it in kegs. I got you.
But they do have one over at Pete's Brass Rail I just delivered a couple of days ago. So.
That's right around the corner from here. We can check it out.
Danville.
I just want to mention, by the way, I'm really proud of the studio for leaving the bunghole alone.
What is a bunghole? They were just talking about it in the chat, and I said, what is a bunghole? And they said, ask Justin.
It's not profane.
We're doing a family show today, and I just want to give props to the studio.
I was looking at it, too.
I know, because you're waiting for me.
Is it a hole in a keg?
It's a hole in the side of the keg.
Yeah. That you put the bung in.
But they still want me to ask you after the show.
I know they do. And you put a bung in it, which is basically, it's a cork of some form. And,
a stopper.
Piece of hardwood.
Goes in the bung hole.
Maybe plastic, but those are horrible.
Doc, John was just waiting for me or you to chime in.
I was looking, too.
I was
like,
going,
oh, shit.
Nope. Let's not do that.
Is there another different word I could use besides bunghole?
I'd rather you use that one, actually. I think it's perfect. If you've never listened to the show before, Gino, check some of the archives and you'll realize that we just spared you a heck of a ribbing.
Oh, you go off on the bunghole, okay.
Yes. Among other things. It's just, there's no mercy here.
Pick those words.
But since we're doing the family show today, I think it was a well-put segment, everybody. Great. And a round of applause for the Brewing Network crew for keeping it clean and nice today.
Bravo.
All right, there you go.
Okay.
Please proceed, Gino.
Okay, through the bunghole goes either the aroma tabs, or more often than not, I'll take anywhere from a half a pound to a pound of hops of your choice, of my choice. Amarillo, Simcoe, Columbus Tomahawk, Zeus, Cascade, depending on what I'm in the mood for, what I've got extra of, what I think smells really nice right at that day. And I'll put them in a nylon stocking. I'll sanitize that, and either iodophor or paracetic. Those are my two favorite sanitization. Hey, there was a second.
Perfect.
Of choice. And
so you don't have to go buy a fancy nylon bag. You can just buy a nylon stocking.
Yeah, just knee highs.
Is that right?
Or I'll snip them.
Hot.
Now that's a deal right there.
Sometimes I don't wash them. Sometimes they're right from Cindy, and they got that little extra.
The secret ingredient.
And do you mark those batches specially? Because I'm wondering if
they sell faster, and we don't disclose our secret ingredients.
It's not like Cindy's IPA at that point. It's you keep the name the same either way.
It'll be a special coat on the bung, but
but that's all.
So then anyway, then we'll put that through there. It'll dangle out a bit, and then
right.
We'll put the bung, a sanitized bung.
Okay.
We'll put the bung in the bunghole, and then hammer it shut, and then fill the keg up.
Okay.
And usually we let it marinate with the hops for a few days before it goes out.
Okay. Now
that's extra hoppy poppy. We can do it with anything, but we prefer the poppy Jasper because one of the reasons for doing it is to sort of educate, or we hope that people out there in the trade will get educated on when we call it, this is extra hoppy poppy Cascade.
Yeah.
We've sold it, several of them with different hops to, say, like the Hop Yard over in Pleasanton, San Ramon. And when they put them on 2 at a time, this one's Cascade, this one's Liberty hops.
Yeah.
And we hope that they advertise that you guys know what Poppy Jasper tastes like already, because a lot of these places we sell regular.
Yeah.
And here's the same exact beer from the same exact batch.
Right.
With extra Cascade. This one has Simcoe. Mm-hmm. So they'll taste this one and, the Cascade Simcoe, and that's what Cascade and Simcoe and how they're different from each other or how they're similar.
Gino, that's awesome. That is really a great thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I've read about that, and breweries don't do it in general because maybe it's not their best mover, and you're not getting paid to educate people, but you're putting out a good beer at the same time. And I just think that's really cool for a guy like me to be able to go in there and taste the exact same beer, except that you've changed the hop, and then I get to know what the difference is, so I can go home and brew that way. That's a cool thing to do.
There's a few breweries that I don't know of a whole lot, but I know that Russian River, Vinny does that.
That's the one.
You've had him in here too,
and that's the one. But he didn't mention that. But I read it in a magazine that he does that.
He's done that, and I got the idea first from Rogue. Rogue was doing their Rogue Red and extra hops, and I had it at the Tornado. And I've had Rogue Red, and I favor it, but it just didn't really punch out to me.
Yeah.
And then I had it with the extra hops in there, and that one I tend towards the really hoppy beers anyway.
Nice.
And this one just it was like a nice rich red ale IPA.
That's great.
Hybrid.
Right. Well, and by the way, while we're talking about it, it is definitely, and we've said this before, a recommended thing for homebrewers to do, and new guys like me, because brew the same beer and change one thing. And in particular with hops like that, you're going to like the beer anyway. If you brew yourself a good pale ale, and you already know that your recipe's good, your process is good, and you like hops or something, then just change the hops a couple of times in each batch, and you're going to get to know what the difference is.
It's going to also help you with further beers, too. Are there different styles that you do? You'll understand what a certain hop does in a certain style.
Exactly.
And you could do like a lager, and you know what that hop does. Yeah. You'll have an idea.
Gives you a better understanding of your ingredients.
Exactly.
Just a good thing to do. I like you do that on a commercial level. That's a cool thing. All right, so any other ones that are in your main lineup there?
Let's see. I covered the juice. Well, I'll do a winter brew. The Yo. I brought a couple of Yos out here. They're like 8.5+%. And
are those in the fridge?
I think so. There's a couple of them that have the little Aztec god on there.
I'm going to go open.
Okay. Yeah, that's the Aztec god of inebriation.
We'll go to break and we'll come back and do some beers.
Yo.
Yeah.
You want to do that? Can we do that? We'll take a quick break.
I got to pee anyways.
All right. We'll grab some
Me
beers, some El Toros, come in here, do some tasting, and let you guys know about them, and then we'll start talking sanitation. Everybody good with that?
Perfect.
Good. All right. We got Gino in here from El Toro Brewing Company, and we're about to try some of those goodies.
Hold your bungholes.
That's right. Hold on to your...
Are we doing any games today?
We're going to do Stump the Brewer, I think.
Once or twice?
Here, let me say this now that you bring this up.
Yeah, you should say that.
Doc, it's a little bit like that.
Do we have shots with that? Or
we can. Doc, let me tell you, you guys, you don't know half the genius that is Doc, all right? I'm going to tell you again
talented.
Now. You've seen the forum, hopefully, and he's put up pictures of the Brewing Network bobbleheads, all the brewcasters in a bobblehead. The guy made T-shirts for you guys. They're great-looking shirts, and he made you T-shirts that say, Bobbling with the BN, and it's got the picture of all the brewcaster bobbleheads on them. They're really awesome, white T-shirts, really well done. I'm thinking I'm going to order my shirts from Doc now.
Yeah.
Because the guy did a better job than not the good ones that we sold, but certainly the bad ones we had to send back. We're going to give those away today. What do you got, 4 or 5 of them there?
I got 4 of them.
So what are we doing?
I can make
Stump
more.
the Brewer.
Good, because I want one, Doc.
Okay,
Me too. I want one too.
I want one too.
They're all large size. I'm going to tell you that.
I want a small one, dog.
Well, the ones we have here are all large. So we'll do four ways to give stuff away out, whatever, right? And one of the ways we like to play Stump the Brewer, Gino. Don't worry about it.
Chemical questions, right?
Yeah, of course. They're going to ask you the names of all the chemicals.
All the molecular things.
There has not been one brewer in yet that has not been stumped.
Yeah, so
everybody.
Sometimes it took a while, but they finally get them.
Yeah. So don't feel any pressure. One way or another, you're getting stumped.
I'm getting my brewing
I got questions already.
And it's not your stuff they're giving away.
Are we doing what else are we doing? So that they have a little time to prepare, you know?
I don't know.
We're drinking.
Figure it out. We'll take a Drunk of the Week call as long as he calls in and doesn't use profanity.
Okay.
Which doesn't have to be the norm, but today's the family show. So no profanity, and we'll take a Drunk of the Week call if they want to do that. Gino can't play. And I don't know. We'll figure it out when we come back.
Sounds great. I love the shirts. They're really awesome.
They are cool. All right, Gino, El Toro Brewing. We'll be right back. It's the Brewing Network.
And now back to the Brewcasters. The Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Welcome back. You're tuned in to the Brewing Network.
Yes, sir.
We're here with the Gino from El Toro Brewing Company.
The Gino.
That's right. You just you've been doing so well, Gino. I've changed you. You've already earned the Gino status. Hang on, I turned you off. There you go.
Almost like Esquire.
Yeah, exactly. The Gino hanging out with us, and we're about to taste some El Toro brews that we've been just been talking about too, and see if we can get to that. Daniela, did we have a phone call, or do I not need to worry about that?
It's MedTech.
Yeah. Is he already calling for Drunk of the Week?
I don't know.
Hey, MedTech, you there, buddy? MedTech. Woohoo! Maybe I should pick him up first. You hung up on him.
Did I?
Yeah, I didn't pick him up before you hung up the phone.
Ooh.
Whoops.
Sorry, MedTech.
Call
delay
back.
button.
Technical issue.
Call back, MedTech. We'll take the call. 888-401-BEER. We're going to start doing sanitation as we're tasting these beers, too. So if you got any questions, feel free to call and ask. All right, which one do we got here?
This is the Golden Ale. This is my English Pale. It's one of the lightest ones I make.
Okay.
I make a honey blonde, which is way lighter than this one and way less hop. But this is a nice little summer, not quite lawnmower beer, but pretty close.
Okay.
Not super bitter. It's mild.
It's got a lot of hops in it, though. As far as you're gonna get the hops, so don't think that the lawnmower beer is gonna be like just passe.
But the malt's awesome in this.
Nice malt. It's got some hops up front, so
real green hop too.
Yeah.
I like that.
It is a grassy.
You're right. It's By the way,
it's not a wimpy beer by any means. Nice one, Sean.
I didn't nothing.
We're just throwing things around in here, having a good time. That's a really good beer, and I can hardly taste a thing. But lots of green hop coming through in there, and the body it's real light. I mean, it's a balanced body too with the hops. But the lawnmower beer thing you're mentioning is definitely the easy drinking of it. I think, right? I mean, it definitely goes right down.
Yeah, it's relatively smooth compared. I guess my other beers must be more aggressive than this one because I think of this one as one of my more mellow beers.
Well, yeah, but you'd think that you wouldn't have any hop perception at all by the way you're describing it, and that's not it. It's there.
It's English Pale, so that's what. Yeah, it sometimes when I go for an English Pale category, sometimes I'll get dinged for not being hoppy enough or not bitter enough.
Well, it's definitely not bitter, but you've got a lot of hop flavor and a lot of hop aroma in there, which actually is very nice.
Yeah, and over the years, I've actually pumped up the hops and the dry hops. It used to be less hop than this, and even though the bittering hops I haven't pumped up at all since day one, I've slowly, pumped it closer to my taste, which I don't know if I've scared anybody away with it, but I always figured by the time I get my other stuff going, the pub, I'll always make probably my American Pale will be way hoppier than this one, but I'll make something else. I make an extra pale ale too in the summertime, which would be similar to this, only probably 1% alcohol lighter and about half as much hops.
Really? If you don't mind, what's the hop that's giving it that grassy hop flavor we're getting out of the Golden Ale?
In both this one and Poppy Jasper, I combine different amounts for the beers to balance them differently, but both of them will all my beers sort of use this family of hops, and the family of hops would be Galena in the bittering, and that's in every single beer that I make.
Sweet.
And I'll use Cascade and Liberty to one degree or another in pretty much all the beers.
What do you like about Galena?
Galena was a nice, clean, bitter. When I was homebrewing, I used to like Galena a lot. A lot of the stuff that I do and a lot of the things that I use, a formula that I develop, I'll base it off of all my old homebrew stuff. And of course, in homebrewing, you use every single hops under the sun from batch to batch to batch, depending on what what's on the shelf, what looks fresh, what looks good, and what you hear about. I used to like Chinook. I used to like Northern Brewer. There was Bullion I used to like a lot too, but you gotta sort of limit when you're trying to create commercial beers. You need to make things more have a family of beers, so people can identify your beers to have a certain. You got to fall into like a genre.
Sure.
So anyway, I like Galena because its 60-minute boil taste was nice, clean, and it wasn't like ever tasted harsh to me.
Yeah, it's not harsh at all. Very smooth.
I'm going to tell you guys this. I always like it when a brewer comes in here and makes me feel like not such an idiot. And Gino's that guy today.
I'm not that smart.
Because I occasionally do some reading when I can figure out which direction the book is supposed to be held. And in my reading, I've switched over in the past couple of pale ales I've been making. And in the one I'm going to brew on Tuesday, I've been using Galena as my bittering hop, too. And it's a little lower on the alpha acid side than I would normally use because I like a nice
12 and 13
bitter
normally.
Well, mine's the ones we get at the homebrew shop. It's like 9 something.
That's really low.
So it is low. You get a higher. Okay, so that wouldn't be low to me.
13 is normally for Galena from year to year to year to year to year.
Okay, then that wouldn't be low.
That's one of the reasons for picking it too is the consistency that you get from hops. I mean, Cascade we've had from year to year to year be anywhere as low as 3, which is really low, and as high as like 9 in some years, which is really really high.
Yeah.
So it's hard to be consistent, and I hate chasing my tail when I'm doing my beers and changing the hops around from year to year to match. So what I've always done is I decided way back when to just set my my hops amount. The only thing I'll chase my tail on is malt efficiencies.
Okay.
So I can get my I can try and get the same original gravities and finished gravities from batch to batch.
Yeah.
But I won't chase my tail on the hops. I just committed myself to say
just the family
hops changes in craft beer. I don't blend my batches like big guys do. And if it changes from year to year, then so
does
be
the
it.
beer. Hey, wine does the same thing. Why not, right?
That's my philosophy.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I've been liking the Galena. I think the last batch I did with the Galena, it was like 9.4. I think the batch I got now is like 10.4. So it's a little higher, but I like it. It's a real smooth bitterness. It's a good hop to use.
Not harsh at all.
So, yeah.
Especially for a fairly high alpha hop.
Hey, MedTech, you on the air there? MedTech.
Hello?
Hey, buddy, what's happening?
I didn't get hung up on this time.
Yeah,
All right.
no, I tried to do it right this time. How are you, buddy?
Good, how are you?
Doing real well. What's going on?
Not much.
You want to try to win a bobblehead shirt? Is that what you're calling?
Sure. I don't know if I'm drunk enough yet, but I'm getting there.
Well, did you have another agenda, or were you just calling us?
Actually, I just wanted to call in about the hop stopper again.
Oh, sweet.
I actually had... I switched over from one of my old kegs to a new one from Sabco. The old one didn't have a welded-in fitting, and the new one does. So the dip tube was actually too short, and he sent out a new one, and it was like $3 or whatever just to cover shipping.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he's a great guy. He covers everything. He said if I have any other problems or anyone who wants to get the hop stopper, I mean, he covers everything.
Yeah.
100%. So
he is like
great.
Captain Customer Service, that guy. I mean, any problem that anybody's had, he's making them new things, whatever he's got to do to send out something else. That's cool.
He tries to figure out what's not working right, and he said, well, try this and see if that works better. And, I mean, it's great.
We were going to use it last night, but turns out I don't have a double-sided fitting on my keg.
You just have the half on.
I have the half. I forgot to tell them to put in the double. I knew I wanted to use the hop stopper, too, and I just dropped off my keg. I was lucky I even did that, right, Doc?
Yeah.
And I forgot to tell him to give me the double-sided thing, so I might have to get something.
Originally I just had a weldless fitting, and so I had to actually put on a full coupling inside.
Gotcha.
And so when I got one welded in, the dip tube was too short.
Okay.
So he sent me a new one, no charge at all. So
very cool.
Great.
iHomebrewSolutions.com if you want to look at the hop stopper.
So
Thanks.
What is that? Is that something you put? Of it, you can go to tophatbrewery.com.
Okay.
And there's a couple of pictures of it in use on the bottom, and
cool.
Check that out.
It's a hop screen.
Thanks,
on the bottom of the spear.
Gina was asking what it was. It's a big thing. It's about this big, and it's got a double-sided hop screen.
It's about a foot diameter, what he just showed me.
Yeah. And basically, it sits on the bottom of the keg, and it's got a dip tube on the inside, and it filters out all the hops. Very fine mesh stainless steel screen.
How do you get it in the keg?
It goes inside the keg, and then
you do it before pre-boil. You just put it in right before you put anything in there. And it
goes on the
right into
inside
your
coupling.
5-gallon keg you're talking about now?
The 15.
Full keg.
No, it's in your boil keg.
I'll show it to you.
Oh! I thought you were talking about kegs like kegs we're drinking beer out of.
Sorry, a converted keg as a kettle.
Okay.
Is what we're talking about.
I've got one of those too.
Yeah, and it goes right in there, and so instead of having to do a whirlpool, or even if you did it, it doesn't matter at that point, you just get a real clean wort transfer because it filters out all of the hops, basically.
Yeah, like hop back.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just you don't have to use hop bags anymore.
No,
exactly.
Hop back. Big commercial brewers use something similar to that, but called hop back.
Well,
right.
Well,
the hop back to add hop flavor, if you're going to run beer through it, you're talking about.
This is just a filter screen.
This is just to filter your wort, yeah.
Okay.
I'll show it to you. It's pretty cool.
He's got one here, actually. So.
Yeah, but I couldn't use it because I had coupling. Thanks, MedTech.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, buddy. We'll see you.
Have a good night.
So what do you think of that Ambryo?
Hang on, let me take another drink here.
Poppy Jasper.
The Poppy Jasper Amber, that's what it is, right?
Yeah, whatever this is.
It's my claim to fame.
It's got great color.
This is easy drinking.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. That's real awesome. It's right up my alley with the bitterness too. It's got a nice hop flavor there. You're right though; it's balanced.
It's very well balanced.
I could see how non-bitter hoppy people would maybe tell you it's a little too. Daniela, I think, might say it's. Here, try this, Daniela. See what you think about it.
I don't think it's too bitter.
But I think, and I would. Yeah, you don't like the bitter guys either. But
it's very. I think with the malt and the hops, it's really well balanced.
I've converted regular beer, industrial beer drinkers over even with this beer.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Stouts too, for that matter. But this beer can convert them.
You like it, Danielle?
Yeah, I like it. It's not even too bitter.
How do you got to have sweetness in there too to attract?
How do you handle the clarity on it? Do you filter? Do you use fining agents?
I'll get a cold break in it. So if you get this really cold, it'll haze up.
Chill haze.
It'll chill haze. Yeah.
What do you get this?
But I filter.
Okay.
You have the same hop character in both of the beers I've had now. That nice, fresh tasting green. Not green in a wet hop way, but just green in a fresh way.
It's a grassy flavor.
Yeah,
it's great. Cascade hops coming through. Liberty hops taste usually a little more earthy.
Mm-hmm. You don't have a special technique in there, and there's no like magic Gino secret.
The yeast is something that you don't really find around here too much either. It's a Southern English yeast that's used a lot back east. That when I selected it, I think there might be a couple out here now, although nobody comes to mind. But it was definitely something. Back when I first started brewing, there were two main yeasts that people were using. Well, three. There was Whitbread, which was just starting to go bad at that point, and people were switching over from Whitbread to Nottingham. Those were two big yeasts out here, and then the other big yeast was the 1056, the Sierra Nevada Chico American Ale, whatever, California Ale yeast, whatever we call it now. But those were the three ones that all the microbreweries and brew pubs that were opening up were going to Whitbread, which was actually I was planning on using Whitbread, but right when I opened up, they weren't selling it anymore.
Okay,
it had gone bad. It was turning out a lot of banana ester way back when, and no one could control it.
Gotcha.
So, but there were a lot of breweries that were big into using it, and it was really nice when it was good. That's my favorite. But anyway, this one is a little stronger, maltier, and it makes it it might be add to the what you're describing.
Okay. And do you repitch each batch, or do you buy a new batch of it?
No, I'll propagate it up. I'll get my yeast just like a lot of other people. From yeast originally was from Y Yeast. Chris White was a friend. His folks live by us, and his twin brother lives by us. And
cool.
So he visits all the time, and he was still a student at Loyola, and he picked up my, not Loyola, La Jolla.
Okay.
Picked up my hops, and then he kept it, there at the university.
Yeah.
And would propagate it for me, and then when he opened up his White Labs along with the other Chris, Chris and Chris, I just started getting it from him.
Nice. That's cool.
It had already probably mutated a couple times by the time he'd started saving it, so we saved it as ours, mine, El Toro's. But White Labs, I'll get it from White Labs about once a quarter.
Okay. How many batches is that?
It's I don't usually count it batches, but more generations, because I can take off of one batch, I can take the yeast twice off and use it in two other batches.
Okay.
So it's probably if we count batches, somewhere between 20 and 30 or so batches. Generally, it's about a dozen generations.
A dozen, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's been the word around here, that the limit is up
10,
right
12.
around 12, yeah.
10 or 12.
I've gone pretty high, and I get a little bit nervous, but then I'll test it. And then sometimes I'll get to, I used to acid wash a lot, but acid wash really shocks the heck out of yeast. And although the yeast that's left over when you acid wash is really crazy when you give it new food, so it propagates up real quick, too.
Really?
But acid wash doesn't necessarily it doesn't kill wild yeast, so that's the only thing you concern yourself.
So what do you do to wash it?
I just I'm real careful on how I get the yeast. I get the yeast it's in a closed system when I'll get the yeast off the bottom of my cylinder conical, and it'll go straight through tube into my 10-gallon converted corny keg.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it will never see the light of day, it'll see the light of day because it's going through a little plastic tube, but
no air.
It won't see the air, and the keg that it's going into is purged.
Okay.
And sometimes if it's a big batch, I'll go into a big keg, but usually just my 10-gallon keg, and that's enough to do my 500 and change gallons is what I'm fermenting.
Wow.
So that's what I'll use, and I'll do that, and I'll fill that up until yeast is squirting out the top of the corny keg.
Okay.
The little airlock, and then I'll just run that into the batch as it's transferring over on a brew day.
Right.
And away we go.
So it will have some wort from the last batch, and it might have some hop break or anything like that, that'll all be in there.
Cold break will be in there.
And you're not worried about any. It's all fine.
I've been doing that for a dozen years.
Okay. See now that
small percentage.
It's been said before that's not out of the ordinary, but I like to repeat it because, especially because I get nervous too. Danielle and I, when she brewed yesterday, we racked a beer off of a carboy. It was my ESB, and man, did the yeast cake just look great. And I thought for a second, why don't we just throw your beer right on top of this? This is a great yeast bed. But then I get nervous because I feel like there's going to be too many flavors from the last beer, or maybe there's too much junk in there. It's not enough good yeast. There's hops and stuff in there. So I didn't do it. So I always like to ask and hear that you guys, I mean, obviously you get it as clean as you can without, all the other junk in there. But
I'm pretty confident it's real clean when we're doing it. And I would suggest to you when you're doing stuff like that, I mean, what's it going to cost you if you try it and it messes up?
Yeah.
So go for it and see if it comes out something you like.
See what happens.
If it comes out, and I'll tell you what, even if it comes out something you like this time, it might not the next time. And when you're homebrewing, sometimes you got to roll the dice and you do it. That's why you homebrew twice a week sometimes. How many times you homebrew a week. Or a month or whatever.
A day.
That's awesome.
A day. But sometimes it's going to come out the way you want it. Sometimes it's not, but that's the fun of doing it. You just do it.
Yeah. Okay.
You've always kind of wondered what it's going to be like to do that. It's a 5-gallon batch, and you said that yeast cake looked real nice.
Well, I'll tell you, if it was my beer, I would have done it, but it was Daniela's beer, and I didn't want to screw up her beer.
Well, if it ever comes out exactly the way you figured it was going to come out, I don't know what your secret would be. Because when you're homebrewing, I don't remember anything ever coming out exactly how I thought it was going to come out.
You're absolutely right.
I mean, sometimes you can nail. Now I get pretty happy. I can nail things pretty close to what I was thinking. But back in I made lots and lots of beer, and I never nailed anything in my own mind.
Right. Well, what I might do, because I can transfer, I still got the other carboy of ESB still sitting on the bed there, and I'm going to brew on Tuesday. I think it's going to be done by then. Maybe I'll throw 5 gallons right on top of that. I'll do the other 5 like I was going to do it, I'll pitch a new batch of yeast. And
do you have any ability to purge with CO2 on the top or anything to make sure you're not mixing with a lot of oxygen air? Not necessarily the oxygen, but the things that are in the air?
Not really, because I got to open the top of the carboy and dump things in it.
You probably wouldn't have to worry about it anyway, because you'd be so overpitched that the yeast that's in there that was yours originally is going to overpower any other little micro things that might be in there.
And you're going to want oxygen in there at that point.
Yeah, you're not worried about oxygen right there, right?
I was thinking the contamination possibilities to blow anything out. But he's going to be so overpitched that overpitching isn't going to hurt you.
Right.
Unless it's too high a temperature out, and then you don't have to worry about that now.
Yeah. It's going to overpower any bug that jumps in there, right?
And especially if you plan on, if you're going to drink that thing in under 6 months' time and you're storing everything properly, then it takes a long time for something in a homebrew bottle to go off unless you had you were just horrendously.
Yeah. I'm lucky these things finish fermenting, Gino. They're done. I'm drinking them out of the
fermenter, man.
Yeah, it's not weird to find me in the middle of the night with a long straw going down to the bottom of my fermenter.
So don't worry about even if you did contaminate things a little bit, it's not going to be enough to even worry, that you're...
I'm going to do that. I think I might do 5 gallons of it just on top of that little... So I'm just going to siphon off as much as I can when I transfer, right? Mm-hmm. And whatever's left in there, I'm just going to leave it.
That's going to be probably at least 5 times as much yeast as you'd probably need, but that's the overpitching's not.
Yeah,
it'll ferment. It'll start fermenting really fast.
Maybe immediately.
See, I want that. I've always wanted to see that happen and then be able to tell the difference, because usually I got
You'll
a little.
See it in less than 6 hours, probably.
That's great.
It'll go quick.
It's going to be fun.
It'll be high coercion by morning.
Yeah, I'm not even going to go to work the next day. I'm going to stay home and watch my carboy.
Chant around the carboy.
Put plastic bags around and stuff on the ceiling. So not blowing off onto the ceiling.
Yeah, use a blow-off tube.
As it were.
You guys want to try a Drunk of the Week call?
Yeah.
Sure.
That'll be kind of fun.
I'm out. Quick. No. How many? What was in that doppelganger?
You there, Trans?
Hey, what's up?
How are you, buddy?
I'm all right. How you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing pretty good. Just talking beer with Gino here. You had a few today yourself, or what?
Yeah, but I guess the problem is, I never really ever sound like I'm drunk,
We'd probably think you were drunk if you called in sober, Trans. We're like, hey, what's wrong with you? You're hammered.
Because, I already passed out once today, and then I'm okay now, but, I'm trying to get, drunk again, so
ramp up one more time.
Stand up. Let's test.
Stand up and walk. Let's see if we can hear you fall into anything.
Hold the phone. Look back.
He's laying on his back.
As soon as we hear the, okay.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, Trans? I don't care. I'll give you a shirt anyway. Is that what?
For the hell of it?
Yeah, why not?
He deserves it.
I don't know. You guys already gave me a shirt, so
Yeah, but this is
about that. But.
No, this is a bobbling with the BN shirt, man. This is different.
He deserves this one.
Can you wear?
Bobbling, you think?
It's all the bobbleheads.
Okay, bobbling on the knob. Okay.
Yeah, very close. Very close. Yeah. Can you wear a large?
Sorry.
Can you wear a large?
Yeah, large is where I'm at.
All right, there you go. You get a shirt. Easy as that. Simple as that, my friend.
I don't have to do anything else, like drink more beer, or like chug or anything.
Drink more beer and email me.
Well, what do you got? You got a beer in front of you?
I'm drinking this Doppel Alt or something it's called. Yeah, it's basically an alt beer, but double the alcohol and everything.
Doppel what?
It's like one of mine. It's a Doppel Altellus.
That's a St. Stans with a shot of JD.
Well, what, dude? I mean, like, you know, I should do something, you know.
You can slam it if you want. I'd hate to waste the beer, but...
let's hear him sing.
Sing the homebrew song.
Yeah, sing the homebrew song.
I already sang the homebrew song.
That's right, yeah.
Oh. Sing the
Great White North.
Sing the Freak to Touch the Felt song. You
I can't hit that pitch, man.
Touch the felt.
Yeah, there you go.
I just can't do that, you know.
Freaking man.
Well, I don't know what you want. You want us to punish you or something? We just want to give you a shirt, man.
Okay, just give me a shirt then. I don't care. But, I mean, I figure I need to do something to deserve it, you know.
Nah, screw it. We're feeling good today. I'm sick and I don't care. You get a shirt. Send me an email with your address, dude. I'll send it out.
Okay, it's cool with me.
Thanks, Trans. We'll see you, buddy.
Later, man.
Well, that was a hard one.
Yeah. I've never had people ask me to punish them before. Make me do something.
More punishment, sir.
All right. What do you want? Run around the block with your pants down. Take a picture.
Daddy.
All right. You guys want to start talking a little sanitation? We're getting short on time. I almost feel like we should just keep talking to Gino and do sanitation next time.
Want to do it next week?
We can do that. We can do that.
What do we got next week? Don't you already have next week planned?
Peter Zien from
AleSmith?
AleSmith, yes.
So do we not have a topic? Do we want to do sanitation with him?
Let's do it next week. Well, we do have a topic. High gravity brewing.
And then we already got a topic with Dan the next week.
Dan Gordon, yeah.
So it would have to wait 3 weeks if we don't do it today. We'll let the chat room decide. We're going to keep chatting with Gino here. If the chat room says sanitation, we'll do it.
How about you
just because I don't do my caps.
But you already told us you don't sanitize. You just throw those dirty caps on there. You don't care.
I use Right Guard and that Old Spice liquid soap.
I use Dove.
It's 3 times the power. It's sports soap.
Lever 2000.
You use that dark field sterilization. You just put it in that dark drawer and sterilizes itself.
Yeah.
That's why I keep my DVDs.
Yeah. Whoa. It's all different kind of sterilization going on in there.
Voice dropped an octave too.
But why don't we let's play Stump the Brewer, like Daniela said. We can do that. Chat room, we're going to do Stump the Brewer. You can call in and do it too. 888-401-BEER. We'll take a phone call Stump the Brewer, and we'll take a chat room Stump the Brewer, because we got a couple more shirts to give away. And we got a caller coming in now, too. So here's the way it works, Gino. They're just going to call in and stump you with whatever they can think of. Of course, it does have to be beer questions, guys. Don't get all crazy.
In some way, shape, or form.
The poor guy.
I actually do have a couple of Stump the Brewer questions already. You want me to go ahead?
Do it.
Do it?
I want to take this call, though.
All right, Gino. Yeah, you're going to take that call. Don't you worry.
Right. Hang in there, caller. I see you there, and I'm going to get you on the air in a second.
All right. So the question is, where and on what date did Arthur Guinness sign the 9,000-year lease? And the side question is, but you don't have to answer that, and how much per year does Guinness pay?
Oh, how much a year do they pay?
Yeah, it's a 9,000-year lease. Yeah.
In what denomination? What do I use? Do I use dollars or lira that they use over there in Ireland?
That's the bonus question. Yeah,
pounds.
You can answer in Deutschmark. I don't care.
For the day, they just want the year.
Guilder.
Euro.
Yeah. Do you know the year that he signed that agreement?
Let's see, Guinness.
And where he signed it?
Where and when?
By the way, this oatmeal stout is awesome.
Thank you. Oh, you're on that already.
El Toro Negro, it's called. And man,
do you get graham crackers?
I get a little graham cracker. I get the oatmeal. I get a little chocolate. Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think I get more chocolate than I do graham cracker.
It's 10% oatmeal in it. So let's see, 18.
That's a great beer, man.
Let's guess 18.
This
is going to be the guess. It's going to be 1892.
No.
Oh, what year is it?
1769.
17? That's not that old, is it?
And where it was at St. James Gate Brewery, and the lease is...
I was going to say that.
Man.
Oh, okay, give me another one then, because I was going to say that. You took it from me.
And the lease is £45
You didn't
a year.
even let me go there either.
He's still only paying £45 a year?
Well, he signed a 9,000-year contract.
It was like 200 plus years ago.
That man is a genius. All right, that's 2 shirts down because that person's stumped
This
Gino.
shirt goes to Skipper in Australia, happily donated by us.
We got 2 left. All right, let me take this caller because it's Mrs. Medtech.
We got Aussies listening?
Yeah, we got...
All right, then. Let's see. I can't do my Aussie accent.
Mrs. Medtech, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, how are you?
Hey.
I'm good. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing real good. You know that
Australian
we
accent.
always like when we get the missus calling in. It's always a good time.
That's what I heard.
Are you calling in to make fun of your husband with us?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. I like it when that happens, too.
Yeah, he's always bummed because the size large T-shirts he can't fit into anymore.
What size does he need?
Extra large.
Oh, that's not too bad. It's not like he needs a 4XL or something.
Not yet.
But he's working on it, huh?
I'll make him when he gets his Harley.
How long's he been brewing?
Over a year now.
Oh, yeah. He's got to give him another year or two. He'll be in the 2XL.
Oh, great.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to keep the MedTech closet here, and we're going to just keep, like, subsequent years. We'll have an extra large for him this year, double X next year, triple X the year after. We'll just send him a shirt as he grows, poor guy.
Isn't it between year 1 and 2, and then thereon you shift over from extract into all grain, and then you start schlepping those bags around? That drops
You
calories.
start to drop a little bit, you think? I think maybe you
Schlepping
even out.
bags of grain.
I think if that's the theory, then you get to double X and maybe you get to stay there. But I don't think you ever actually go down.
It takes a lot to keep that girth.
And then you get tired of putting it in bottles. You start putting it in kegs. Then you got to schlep the kegs around. Those are heavy.
Yeah.
It's all exercise, right?
Can you fit into a large, Miss Medtech?
Oh, yeah.
You want a bobblehead shirt?
Good, yeah.
It's they're. I'm telling you guys, I'm not joking about this. They're so cool.
Yeah,
it's awesome. You're gonna love the shirt.
You have medium?
We only made large. The Doc just took what he had and he made lingerie. But you could
That's
probably.
right. I'm good at shrinking things.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Just stick it in the dryer for a long time.
Is that her picture there on that webcam thing you got on the screen?
That's what MedTech always says I do with his clothes.
That you shrink them. Here, let me look at it. It's Oh yeah, you're fine. It's 100% cotton and it's not even pre-shrunk yet.
Good deal.
Yeah, just leave the sucker in the dryer for a good couple of hours.
You're gold.
You'll be able to wear this.
Well, it is white. So.
And we're even sending actual washing and care instructions with them because Doc is a professional here. So I'll tell you, you're going to love this shirt. It's awesome.
Thank you.
I have to say, personally, I think my bobblehead looks the best.
I think mine looks the best.
Now look at the one on the
really
shirt.
Cute with his little skirt.
I'll have to call and let you guys know what I think. Right?
You definitely have to, Mrs. Medtech.
Yeah, can you take a picture and send a picture to us with you in it? That'd be cool.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, do that. We won't do anything mean to it. We'll just put it up on our...
Yeah, right.
On our site.
Darts.
John looks like the leprechaun from Lucky Charms. In the
the leprechaun's always cute though.
Yeah, see, he's a and then
it's me, Lucky Charms.
And Doc, I'll tell you, Doc looks a lot more classy than he actually is.
Looks like he looks like an Amish brewer.
I think, he does. I think that was a little wishful thinking on your part when you designed your bobblehead, Doc.
Photoshop's an amazing thing.
Yeah,
you don't like mine?
Danielle looks like Britney Spears.
You know what?
Yes, she does.
I've heard that before. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, you are a little Britney.
It's not a bad thing on
It's
this
the worst thing ever.
Not on this T-shirt.
Doc forgot to put your boobs in there.
You're much better looking.
There's no.
It's all about the head.
Yeah, you're right.
Not in Justin's
Look at the back of the shirt.
It is? I was like, God, I can't even recognize you.
He doesn't even know my face.
That's bad.
I don't care though. I don't like him anyways.
What are you going to do?
You're going to get me a visa. That's all that matters.
All right, where are you calling?
Wow.
Keep feeding him beer.
That's right. And beer equipment.
That's true love.
That helps. All right, were you calling just to get a shirt, or did you need anything else with us, Miss Medtech?
That's all I needed.
Mrs. Medtech, please.
Mrs. Medtech, sorry.
Yeah, Mrs.
No, I'm sorry.
So impolite.
Your husband's a good dude.
He is a great guy.
We like it when he calls in. He's a lot of fun and gives us some good info. So.
Are you guys going to Florida, Mrs. Medtech?
Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I don't think so.
Really? Because MedTech told us he's
he
going.
told us he will be there.
He was like, yeah,
He said that?
yeah, he said, I'll see you. It's because it's the National Homebrew Competition. He just sent me. No, he just sent me an email yesterday with his hotel information. He said, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there on Thursday night, and I was hoping to meet up with you guys when you get there.
She has to go now.
He even said he would be coming with
that
his
wasn't
wife.
the question you asked her. You asked her if her and him were gone. She said no.
No, I'm sorry. I got MedTech.
See, now
Sorry.
he's in trouble.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. I thought she knew. I didn't mean to spill the beans, buddy.
He likes trouble.
Well, he said he passed out. He said he passed out once already today. Where'd you find him?
Good
He
question,
never
Doc.
said that.
Good question.
Porch.
Bedroom.
All right.
Church.
Enjoy the T-shirt.
Church.
Okay,
Thanks for calling
Yeah,
in.
you guys got to send me an email with your address, and we'll get it out to you.
Okay,
Thanks, Miss MedTech.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
You know, somebody just had a great idea for how to give away the last shirt. Somebody has to call in and sing the Hot Nuts song.
I'm out.
With that 40s twang.
I'll take that. Yeah, caller with a hot nut song.
How many shirts do we have left?
I think we got one because we had.
Because I got another Stumped Brewer lined up.
I can make more. That's not an issue. Yeah. And I can make bigger
Dates
ones.
and chemistry.
And smaller one. Well, then go ahead and make a small one for Mrs. Metzek.
Huh?
Yeah,
She
17.
needs a medium.
Okay, so we'll take another caller. We'll do another one. What did you send me here? How about that? While we're waiting on callers, back to you, Gino. Someone wants to know how you flavor that peach ale of yours.
I use an extract that I use an extract
from
just a regular peach extract.
You can get the same stuff. They've changed their names of their brand a few times, but you can get pretty much the same stuff. You know, I'm getting my trades. I said I'd never give away, but
that's what we like, though.
Is that company called Hoptech in Pleasanton, Dublin, still there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Then that you can get the same stuff from them because they carry the stuff too.
Okay.
But I don't know if they carry peach because now the company that I used to deal with makes you order huge quantities of it. So
okay, and where
huge
in
quantities meaning gallons and gallons and gallons, like
right,
like
a pallet,
30 gallons or
a
something.
pallet.
Well, not that much. That would be, God, how much hops would that? I mean, how much beer?
That's a lot.
It would be a lot of beer. I mean, I think you can do a whole batch in less than 4 gallons.
4 ounces and for 5 gallons.
Yeah,
extract.
It's probably for something like peach, it'd be something like right around 10 ounces. It's not exactly what I use, but for a keg.
Yeah, and that's in a gallon's going to take you a long way.
A gallon, say 128 ounces in a gallon. So.
Where in your process would you put that extract in on a beer like that?
I chuck it into the kegs when I do a draft, or it'll go right to the bright tank.
Oh, gotcha.
Otherwise, you put it in during fermentation, you're going to blow off all the aromatics.
Okay.
You know, a lot of the part when you're drinking. A lot of the experience of drinking a fruit beer is in the nose, and if you put something into a fermenter, especially prior to all the both the alcohol's in there or any of the fermentation's gone on krausening, you're going to blow off all the aromatics.
Makes a lot of sense.
So you throw it in afterwards, so you're not blowing that stuff off, and you can experience it as soon as the bubbles come up into your nose.
Gotcha. But it is a sugar of sorts too, right? So you are adding sweetness when you put it at the end.
Yes, there is some, but yes, that's true.
What does that beer taste like without it? Have you tried it just without before you put in the extract?
My peach ale is the golden ale that you already had.
It is, and then you add the peach to it. Awesome. So it's not
just like Black Raspberry. Make Jack's Cannery in San Francisco is the only people that they special order it now, and they'll get it by the keg.
Okay.
And I've told them it's a Poppy Jasper with the extract added.
Now that's cool because especially a lot of people will like the fruity beers. I don't. Daniela doesn't like them too much.
They were big like 10 years ago though.
Absolutely, and people craft brewers were coming out with them like mad because it was just a good thing to do. I like that you don't really have to change your beer. Let's say you're going to be like me. You brew 10 gallons. You're going to end up with 2 5-gallon kegs of it. Do the beer in one, just leave it alone if it's a pale ale or something, and in the other one maybe throw some fruit extract in there, right? And you can have yourself a fruit beer.
And like you said, there's some sugars in there, so carbonate on the lower side. So especially since you're not filtering, you're going to have some yeast left over that's going to want to eat some of that sugar. So there's going to be some of your priming right there.
Okay, right. Awesome. I think that's a good idea because you don't even really have to change your beer. All right, I'm excited about the next phone call, too.
Me too.
You know what we got on the line here? A little bit of Brewing Network fame.
It is like a queen.
Yeah, she's like the queen.
Who is this?
It's Jamil's wife is on the line with
us
right now.
Way.
Yeah, absolutely. Is this Mrs. Pope?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Is it? Should we just refer to you as Your Highness as we do Jamil? Would that be okay?
Probably.
Yes.
I think she needs her own. She needs her own title.
Jamel is Mr. Liz.
What's that?
He's Mr. Liz.
He's Mr. Liz.
Jamil's wife. That's unbelievable.
I really feel honored that we're taking a call here. How are you today?
Fine.
Yeah?
Fine.
I appreciate you giving up Jamil all those times.
Is Jamil alive?
I feel honored that I was made to call you.
That's great. You could have at least pretended that it was your idea, and that you've been dying to meet us or something like that would have been very charming.
Well,
I have been dying to meet you. I hear so much about you, and I'm always so intrigued by your photos.
As you should be.
Your husband has a lot to do with that.
Yeah. It's funny, Jamil was telling me the story this week about the photos and doing them and looking through the thing, and he's like, you know what? Even my wife looks at those and just cracks up now. And she wants to see the new ones I'm working on and stuff, which I thought was hilarious. Because there's some twisted photos, Mrs. Z.
Yes.
Well, I guess you have to have a bit of the same twisted sense of humor your husband does if you're going to hang out with him that much.
Now, having Jamil's wife on the phone is like a behind the scenes, so you got to ask those questions.
Yeah.
How is he?
Has Jamil been brewing?
How what?
Has he been brewing beer?
John wants to know if he's been brewing, because Jamil keeps telling John he's not brewing.
No, he did not brew today or yesterday.
Wow.
Well, so the day before that, yes, he has. Has he brewed in the last 2 weeks?
He played in the kitchen with some canning jars in the pressure cooker, so I don't know what he was doing.
He's brewing.
Once the pressure cooker's out,
it's all downhill from there.
Could be just doing starters, though.
Yeah, something with yeast and. All I know is I was sent for more canning lids. That's all I know.
Do you like his beer? Is it any good?
Some of it.
Some of it?
Yeah. What's the worst beer you had from Jamil?
Well, anything that has the word lambic in it, I hate.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough right there.
Lambic span.
Yeah. And do you consider yourself a beer person in general, or no?
No.
No. Do you have a drink?
I'm not a beer person at all.
Not at all. Do you have a drink of choice?
Margarita?
Ah, there you go. I like a little margarita every now and then. Are you a blended or on the rocks?
Blended. With salt.
With salt. That's the way
traditional.
To do it. Yeah, I like that. That's good. No, just straight tequila, huh?
Not anymore.
Not since last
Not for
week.
many decades now.
Okay, gotcha. And so Jamil probably isn't as smart as he comes off on the radio at home, am I right?
No, in person he's much, much smarter.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah, he's got you trained well, Mrs. Z. I can see why you guys get along. You know how to feed the ego.
He's right there.
Yeah, he's like sitting next to him.
It's not that much effort to feed his ego.
Not at all.
So Mrs. Z and I do have one in common because I know how to feed your ego.
Yeah. I'm concerned I'm actually talking to the Jamil puppet and not really Jamil's wife or something. You can't be so nice to him, Mrs. Z. He's not that nice of a guy. You've seen those pictures he makes of people.
Well, yes.
I'm actually curious that, he seems to spend so much time, reading about beer and doing beer and stuff. I'm surprised he still has a family, Mrs. Z. How did he keep that in check?
That is a mystery. I think it's because he only sleeps about 2 hours a night.
Ah, gotcha.
And somehow he is able to juggle all these roles, but
right.
I think the majority of his beer learning came actually a couple of years ago. So
okay,
as far as I can tell.
If you could give advice to any of the partners out there who have to deal with overzealous homebrewer companions, what would it be? Leave now.
Gosh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Oh, make sure the stovetop's clean when you're done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would even almost say, don't let it come inside the house. If you can keep it in the garage or in the backyard, because once it enters into the kitchen in the regular house, I don't think you'll ever get it back again.
It's kind of like that smelly old dog. Once you let it in and feed it once, you have a hard time getting rid of it.
So when he was using the canning, the pressure cooker and stuff, were you banished from the kitchen?
Well, I have been in the past, but this was not this time.
Yep.
I always find that funny. I see messages like that sometimes where the brewers are like, yeah, my wife's not allowed near the kitchen when I'm doing, any of my sanitization or whatever. And if she sneezes, I give her the evil glare like you just did the worst thing you could do. Gotta be sanitary.
That's true. That happens. But we wear masks when we bottle. I help him bottle, too.
And you guys both wear masks?
You wear a mask?
Yeah, we wear surgical masks when we bottle, so I'm used to that.
Do you wear surgical gloves, too?
Yes.
How about the Perel hand sanitizer? The Perel hand sanitizer, does that go on?
You got to keep that handy, right?
Mill's intense.
What's your safety word?
He's not intense, John. He's a freak.
Yeah, okay.
This guy is a sanitation freak. He's got a pressure cooker. Do you have do you have to turn on the whole house ventilation system to purge all the air before you do too?
No. He can just go into his special clean spot and do whatever he needs to do there.
He does have a clean spot, though.
Jamil's posting all these doctored up pictures, right, that we're laughing at. If we got one picture of Jamil and Mrs. Z all in their masks and surgical gear bottling, you wouldn't have to doctor it a bit. It'd be hilarious. Yeah. Put that up on the site for us, Mrs. Z.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if we can do that. We can get one of the kids to take it, probably.
How are the beers? How are his beers?
It might even be funnier if the whole family's around. All the kids have got the surgical masks on and the gloves and the whole bit. Give us that.
Oh, okay.
His beers are awesome,
If
Gino.
it works for you, that's what you do. Everybody needs a ritual.
You know what? You can. We could sit here and insult Jamil and say things until the end of the world. The man's beers are the best homebrew I've ever had.
Country.
They're unbelievable. He's like the most award-winning homebrewer ever. He's awesome. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
It's an honor.
Oh, well, thank you. You guys, I've enjoyed
Mrs. Z, we'll call her, I guess.
Yeah, is it all right if we stick with Mrs. Z?
Sure.
Okay. Do you want a bobblehead shirt?
Of course.
It's cool. You've seen the picture on the site if you look through there. It's the same thing, but it's even better because Doc put some captions in there, and it's awesome. We'll give you a bobblehead shirt. You deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
True to that.
All right, well, thank you very much.
All right, cool. I'll give it to you guys. Are you doing a show tomorrow or next week?
Dry Stouts tomorrow.
Tomorrow. All right, I'll give it to Jamil tomorrow. He can bring it home to you.
Okay.
Thanks, Mrs. Z.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I thought she had told you to call her the wife of Mr. Liz.
Yeah, I think that was right, but that's just too long.
Yeah.
You want me to, can I have more Gino's a stout, please? That beer is just
so good, huh?
It's awesome. I mean, they're all good. We have other ones to try, too?
There's the winter brew that's in there. There's the Deuce, the double IPA, and my regular IPA.
We're going to do the winter brew.
Oh, man. You sure you don't want to do the IPAs?
I'm saving it for last, man.
Yeah, you're probably right. We should do that.
That's okay, right?
Yeah,
that makes me afraid that you want my wife to call in too.
I don't think I'm a purist in anything.
I want your wife to appear in studio. Do a whole interview with her. Daniela, what do the chat rooms say? Am I supposed to move on to sanitation, or are we okay?
I think they didn't really have an opinion about that.
All right, then I think we're going to hold the sanitation talk and just have some fun tasting Gino's beers here for a while. We got some good information out.
You know, you got one Stump the Brewer lined up in front of you, and you got a caller and.
What do you want to do first?
Go ahead and stump. That's an easy thing.
Okay.
Do the stump.
The music for the Star-Spangled Banner was derived from what British drinking song?
Oh, I should know this one.
It's a tough one.
And I've been there to the Fort
Sumter.
I have the answer in front of me, and I don't know what it is because I can't read Daniela's hieroglyphics.
San Francisco, right?
You can?
Yeah, Fort Point.
Well, I know it's called the Star-Spangled Banner. I know that.
Yes, that's derived
and
from...
I know he was captured, and he was trying to negotiate there, and he was out in the harbor, and...
It's a British drinking song.
Yes, I got that. I'm that's like, are you going to, okay, you have 5...
It's either I do that or I sing the Jeopardy song to you.
No, this is like you want to be a millionaire, and Ray just wants you to keep talking
about... If you prefer, then
I more colorful people that can stretch it out like that.
Keep talking. There you go. That's it.
You know, the British...
Holy shit.
That's good.
Let's see, the British drinking song. I don't know.
Final answer?
Final answer?
Do you want me to sing it?
Yeah.
Well, ask the asker of the question if Gino singing the thing will be an acceptable answer. Because I would be okay if Gino sang it.
No, not the national anthem, but the drink beer song. The drink beer, oh come drink beer with me. Oh, I don't give a damn about any old man who won't drink beer with me. I'll bring out that old oak bucket with Name your fraternity opponent.
Yeah, right. Okay. That was awesome.
Not bad.
Yeah.
He was saying sure, I guess.
But he didn't sing the real answer. Doc? What's the answer?
I don't remember.
Oh, I thought you said you knew it. Here, Danielle, I can't read your hieroglyphics.
It says Anacreon.
A what? A whoa?
Anacreon?
Who's she?
That's the British drinking song.
Isn't that tennis player that's really hot?
It's close. Anna
Kournikova.
Yeah. She is hot, too.
What did you say?
He's nice. Anacreon.
Yeah, that's what he says.
That's what my kids draw with.
Cleon?
Stumps.
Okay, Stumps.
Shirt for Gabo.
They color with those.
Right, Gabo, send me an email. So we're out of shirts in the studio, but so...
Come on, Anacreon. Who's ever heard of that?
No, did you color that with a pen and a crayon?
Yeah. Everyone we give away now, Doc, is work for you. Just keep that in mind.
Is what's that?
Everyone we give away now is work for you.
Just give me and I need the sizes so I can pick up the shirts.
All right, Gabo, email me with your size.
You drew those with Anacreon on there.
Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, what's up, Justin?
Who are we talking to?
This is Big Chooch.
Hey, Big Chooch, what's happening?
Nothing much, man. You guys need to call this the wife show.
The wife show, I know. Absolutely.
That's the whole reason I called after the comment that Danielle made earlier. I was like, yeah, she's got to talk to my wife.
What's that buzzy?
What did I say again?
About cleaning and stuff?
No, about how Danielle is. What?
No, it's all right. Go ahead. What did Daniela say that you had to call in for?
No, about how she really enjoyed the brewing process and started getting into it.
Yeah. See,
yeah.
absolutely.
My wife's always ragging on me,
You want to put her on the horn?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'll do it. This is good.
Connection's a little funny, but we'll keep it short and see what we can do here. Hello.
Hi.
Is this Mrs. Chooch?
Yeah.
Sorry if that sounds offensive in some way, but that's
kind of silly.
Hey, your husband chose the name, not me.
I know. That's okay, though.
I think I went to school with your husband.
Yes, he was talking about that.
It's really weird.
Hysteria, right?
Yeah, back there in old Hysteria.
Oh, that's the one?
Yeah, I got an email a long time ago from
that.
Big Chooch, and he just said, I'm in Hawaii here. I'm so thankful that I found your show. And then I was blown away. The second archive I listened to, you mentioned that you come from Hesperia High School, and I graduated a year before me or something. So, very strange. Small world in the brew.
It is a small world.
In the brew world. All right, so Daniela needs to give you some advice about how great brewing is, I think.
Yeah, because I don't understand what all the hoopla is about.
That's fair enough.
Well, have you ever tried it yourself, to do it yourself?
No, actually, it looks very complicated.
It is. It totally is very complicated, and it's really hard on women because you have to lift a lot of stuff. But I'm telling you, Mrs. Chooch, if I pronounce your name correctly, if you see the pride in your husband's eyes when you pitch your first yeast, that's something else.
Yeah. You're talking probably 7 minutes instead of 5 after that.
Probably so. It increases a lot. Just give it a try. Tell your husband what you like, what kind of beer you like. Just try to describe the flavors, and he's going to tell you what kind of grain you have to use, what hops, what yeast you should pitch, and so on. And then you guys do it together, and it's like a 6 hours experiment, but it's awesome. And then you're going to get to drink your own beer, and he's going to get to drink it too. Saves money, fun together, awesome.
And make it your beer instead of you just helping him brew one of his beers.
Yeah, that's the deal. It has to be what you want to be drinking.
And then it goes even further. It has to be what you want to drink, definitely, because that's what I do too. I tell Justin, look, this is what I like, tell me what I have to do. And he helps me with every single step because I can't do it myself either. I've been on this show for like 9 months now and I still don't know how to brew.
Yeah.
But then it's a lot of fun, The man feels very manly because he gets to teach you something. He's very proud of you.
And lift big things.
Lift big things around, exactly.
Tell you what to do.
It's just a very great mutual experience. And the best thing is, like, afterwards when you drink your own beer, it's really awesome. That's really a nice feeling because you made alcohol yourself. How cool is that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is cool. It is cool to drink the beer that he does make, and he's been doing pretty good.
Yeah.
There's been a couple boo-boos, but
of course, it happens.
It's not like I ate a loaf of bread.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. It's a significant amount of work, especially the first time you do it. But that's why, like Daniela says, if you're kind of doing it together, you make a day out of it. You guys are hanging out and just make sure you don't have anything else to do, and you just take your time and hang out and do it. And then the hard work, it's not so hard because you're just taking your time anyway.
Another big advantage is you get your husband to hang out with you for 6 or 7 hours in a row and actually talking to you because there's nothing else going on. The TV is off, so he really is going to talk to you. That was a big advantage for me.
The mash takes about an hour, so...
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing to do while it's mashing.
Social time.
I actually left during the mash. I did. I left. I had to go get propane. I was like, all right, 30 minutes, I'm out of here.
But you only need 7.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, give it a go. You know, it's not for everybody, let's be honest. But you might have a good time, and it's definitely the process that's fun about it. You got to just get into it like that, you know.
Okay.
Give it a
I'll
shot.
give it a try.
You guys got kids, too?
Yes, we have a 7-month-old and a 5-year-old.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
Nice work. Hey, get the 7-year-old out there, too. He can do stuff.
7-month-old.
No, 5-year-old, sorry.
5-year-old, yeah.
He can do stuff.
He's wild, though. I don't know if he sits still long enough to do that.
Give him an empty can of beer and tell him to play with it while you guys are doing stuff.
Or full can.
Full can. Yeah, even better. He'll be taking a nap real soon, right? Yeah.
Or get hyper.
Yeah.
You can play who passes out first, Daddy or the 5-year-old.
Nice.
All right.
Hopefully for us, it'll be the 5-year-old.
That's true. You guys want a shirt?
Oh, that would be great.
You want a bobblehead shirt? What size you need?
Oh, high, medium.
Medium. All right. Chooch doesn't get one, but you do. Yeah. you hear Big Chooch in the background. You get a shirt. Yeah, that's right. It's the wife show. You're the one who said it, Chooch. So, Mrs. Chooch, you get a bobblehead shirt. We'll send you a medium.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for calling in.
All right, thanks.
All right, see ya.
You know, you want to put some perspective on that because it made me think. I've been brewing since my first batch was in March of 1983. March of 1984. I'm sorry. And my wife of today that I've been married to for 18 years was there and helped brew the very first batch of homebrew that I brewed. So
that's great.
So
and this is a great segue too because I do know that yours is a family business and your wife's your partner in the company as well.
Yes.
And I'd like to just talk about that whole thing because she's not obviously a person who minds you spending your time brewing.
She's probably outside right now. Yeah. She's probably done shopping.
I would guess she's listening and making sure you don't screw up.
Well, she's got the spy right here.
That's right. Gino's daughter's here, keeping him in check too. So, but you do
making sure it's not like Howard Stern with the, see those now.
Yeah. No brewing strippers on this show.
Not
Can't
yet.
do that.
You promised.
I'm sorry. I tried.
They didn't show up.
Danielle.
All the way.
They didn't show up.
Now, you guys you're a fully functional family-run brewery.
Pretty much.
Okay. And is there anybody else in the family besides the two of you that run
my
it?
dad's out there helping too.
Okay.
He's not a beer drinker in any way, shape, or form, but he's out there helping.
Gotcha. And did you guys kind of decide as a family you wanted to do this, or did you decide and they followed? They had no choice.
It's pretty much me and then talking it over with Cindy, but that was back in about 1990. We made that decision. I'd already been home brewing for, do the math. But 1990, I started taking classes. I was already an engineer. That was what I did I was an aeronautical engineer.
Okay.
And took the classes at UC Davis, started entering competitions there just to see how we fared against everybody else. Did pretty good. Took at that time there wasn't any Master Brewers course at Davis. It was just the Intensive Brewing Sciences course. Okay. There are a lot of other brewers that are out there today that have been around for a long time that were in those very classes that I was taking. Yeah. Grant Johnson was there, and I can't remember. I've had my little picture book of all that stuff. But at any rate, we started developing our feasibility right about 1990 to 1991. Started working on a business plan in 1991, 1992, and started executing it about 1992. And finally brewed the first batch of El Toro beer in March of 94.
Okay. Now I don't.
And I'd been homebrewing the whole time. I don't think I'd ever went for a full week without brewing at least once, and often it was. Sometimes I would brew in the kitchen and never brewed in the garage until the very end, where we were. Moved back to Northern California from Southern California where I was doing engineering stuff.
Okay.
But But sometimes I'd have 2 batches going at the same time, and sometimes one would be an all extract batch and the other one would be mashing, and
Nice.
Sometimes I'd have the grain in the oven, or sometimes I just with the hot water into. My favorite mash device was a thermos cooler, a big cooler,
a
30-quart cooler. That way you nail your temperature. Once you know how hot your water is to the amount of grain you've got, you leave that sit there, you close the lid, and you walk away for 2-3 hours if you want.
Really?
Come back later and then run off.
Okay. You didn't have to set up a sparge device or anything else in the cooler?
Yeah, it wasn't so much a device. No, it wasn't a device at all, actually. It was just
big pot of water.
Yeah, it was more like a flower watering thing with the sprinkler.
Gotcha.
With hot water. It was like 170-degree water.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little bit more because by the time it comes out the spout and hits, it's a little bit less. And then just a piece of angled stainless steel with a bunch of number 30 holes drilled in it. So that you put that over the spout at the bottom, you lift up the cooler so it can run out, and you have your bucket down below to collect it all until you get your 5 gallons, and then you take that, throw it in your big stainless steel pot, and boil it on the stove.
Go to town.
Unless we had that little plastic electric heated brew thing, which was really a horrible device.
Yeah.
The brew heat, I think, was called.
Yeah.
Is horrible. It took like hours to get up to boil.
Really?
Yeah. And you'd use that to boil and mash in, and just running off am I taking too long again?
Yeah.
But I digress. Where were we?
Well, I'm sorry, I'm looking at two, because I have another question for you that I really want to ask, and I also have someone who wants to sing Hot Nuts for a T-shirt. So I'm really torn between asking a good question and singing here. Let me see if he can hang. Hey, can you hang on for a second, Kangabrew?
Sure.
Hang in there, buddy.
Another Cylon.
Okay.
He's got a lot of robots.
Yeah, it's you never know. Some lines come through great and others don't. What I want to ask, and please do not allow me to get too personal. You don't have to. You only answer as much as you want.
I'm not getting naked.
Okay, caller. Well, what I'm curious about is you guys started really on a grassroots kind of way, and I just want to know maybe if you can divulge a little bit about how you were able to get the financing to open up a brewery like that, and did you have to go outside of yourselves and ask for money, or did you save up, and how did you start it financially? Because it's a big undertaking,
right? And at the time, it was probably a little. Well, it depends on where you're at in the country too. Right around in here in California, Northern California, probably especially, but probably all of California.
Yeah.
I think it's a little more expensive to get going than it would be in some other parts of the country where maybe real estate is cheaper and stuff. But money. Of course, you have to have the money. And we'd saved. My wife was a legal secretary at the time, so she was making a little bit more than I was as a senior engineer.
Okay.
But as an engineer from day one, you're always putting money aside, either in your IRA or there were some other forms that we were putting aside too. But somewhere between 17 and 21% I was putting aside, and then there was some matching that was being done by Donald Douglas, who I worked for at the time.
Okay.
We'd saved a significant amount, so that was the biggest part, and then the balance came from an equity loan we got off my parents' property, which is the site in which the brewery sits now. We have 2 pieces of property, one that my family lives on, my family being my wife, my 2 daughters, myself, about 3 acres just south of the brewery site.
Okay.
And then the brewery site where my parents' property is, that's about 2.5 acres. So we built the brewery in the back in about 4,000 square foot 4,400 square foot building. And it looks like a horse barn. It was designed to look like that because the whole area is a horsey area.
Gotcha.
But the money, how do you get started?
Yeah.
The money came from...
Weird noises go. Oh, is that your phone? That's okay.
So the money came from our savings and equity loan. And that.
So you really it was kind of a risky thing because that savings was really your retirement. If you're talking IRAs and whatnot.
Yeah.
You guys,
it's
put
definitely your next stuck way out there, and if something happens, you're homeless.
But you didn't have to bring in.
No, we're living with my folks when we first started, so it wasn't.
But you didn't have to bring in investors, and you didn't really have to go out and get a big bank behind you.
No, it was we just stuck on X, and everything we'd ever saved went into it 100%.
Okay.
Here's a big. Okay, this is probably something that probably shouldn't disclose, but we had a whole bunch of credit cards at the time, and we maxed those out big time.
Did you really?
Yeah.
So you really went on the line.
Big time, like 100K.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
You just went for it.
We were in debt for a long time.
So let me ask you this then. Did you do that, willy-nilly, hey, let's throw it on the line, and if it works, it works? Or when you actually made your business plan and you were checking your viability, did it really seem like a calculated risk to you guys?
No, it was a calculated risk. And at the time, there weren't as many, it wasn't the explosion at the time. Because remember, 94 when we opened was about the time things were just starting to ramp up. So we didn't foresee it being as big of a deal as it became, to where there was as much competition as there was. Everyone was a little bit more focused on their own local geography, which we sort of underestimated the amount that it would grow and the amount of competition you would have.
Yeah.
So it was, as I said, and you probably got listeners out there that are engineers or technical people that study the heck out of things. And as a home brewer, that's what I did too, and that's how I got better. Is I read every technical thing out there, and then what really makes you better is you just apply trial and error.
Gotcha.
You know, and then when you make the mistake, you read your technical. That's
right.
What it is.
That's what I did.
So anyway, yeah, we studied the heck out of it, and it was a calculated risk, and it's taken longer to recover.
Okay.
One day we will.
Yeah. So 94.
Like I said, we're getting ready to do the pub. The pub was always the idea, but then things didn't work out. We turned it into a microbrewery and intended to roll that into a pub, and it's taken longer. But now we're doing it. Going to open this summer.
Gotcha. You're about to do the pub. That's great. See, now that's a long time coming. So you started in 94 with the intention of having a pub, and now it's 06 and you're getting the pub.
Now,
a lot of patience and a lot of work. That's good.
Yeah, and our overhead's not so bad either, because when we've got my dad working there, us, we don't have any employees per se other than ourselves.
Sure.
And we've trained brewers that have gone on to become actually better brewers in pretty well-known places.
Nice.
So we've had a few brewers go through that we've had on the payroll, but then as things had to start to whittle down, we've whittled them down, or they've seen it and have left by choice, or gotten jobs that pay them better than we could pay.
Sure, I gotcha.
And offered decent training in exchange for that, so it wasn't something for nothing.
Well, and child labor probably helps you out.
Gina
kids.
Will, what? Okay.
You guys got to go.
Leaving, so see you, Gina. Come pick me up.
You want to take a quick break and we'll sort things out in here?
Sure.
Everyone do? Okay. We'll take a real quick break. I've got Kangaroo. How about this? We'll let Kangaroo sing Hot Nuts into the break. You want to do that?
Sounds good.
Captain Kangaroo, you there, buddy?
I'm here.
All right, you sing Hot Nuts, and then you're gonna take us into the break, and then we'll give you a shirt for it.
Oh boy, this is going to be very good.
Okay,
you ready?
I'm ready. Go for it.
Okay. Right. Selling nuts, hot nuts. Anybody here want to buy my nuts? Selling nuts, hot nuts. I've got nuts for sale. 1 for $5, 2 for $10. If you buy them once, you'll buy them again. Selling nuts, hot nuts. You buy them from the Peanut Man.
Yeah! Kangaroo! We'll be right back. It's the Brewing Network.
The Brewing Network. Saving your life. One beer at a time.
City lights.
It's not City Lights, is it?
I like that, though.
I like how John just changes the words however he feels like.
Willy-nilly.
Yeah. It's See Me Ride Out into the Sunset.
I like City Lights.
It would work. City Lights Out in the Sunset.
It's a Journey song.
I used to have a book that had all the alternate lyrics that people thought the songs were.
Oh, that's great.
It's hilarious.
I had a calendar that was like that, just a daily thing. It would give you a new song with funny words. It was hilarious.
People that would, commit to this, and they'd say, well, hey, I always thought it was those words.
Yeah. All right. It's the Brewing Network, and of course we're here with Gino from El Toro Brewing Company hanging out with us. Kind enough to stick around for a while. Another long show. Got the family hanging out too, and that's cool. Especially because it's turning out to be the family show and the wives show. Just before the break, we had Captain Kangaroo sing us the Hot Nuts song, which was well done, if I don't say so myself. I might edit that out of the archive and put it somewhere. Kangaroo, you there?
I'm here.
Hey, that was nice work, man.
Yeah, please edit that out of the archive.
No, when I said edit out, I meant like edit it to post it by itself.
Oh, no.
I'm just gonna.
Oh boy.
You should have gone on American Idol. We should have American Brewing Idol.
We should. I have no voice. I was in the shower, so yeah, I guess that was better.
That's great. Hey, I appreciate it. That was highly entertaining.
And I'll do anything for a shirt.
Apparently. What size you want, Kangaroo?
You get a large?
Yeah, perfect. That's what Doc's got. We'll send you a large.
Yeah, it'll be extra large pretty soon, but I'll stretch into it.
All right, cool. Send me an email, Justin at the Brewing Network, and we'll get it out to you.
Sounds good. Thanks, Justin.
Thanks, brother.
Bye-bye.
Cool. That's fun. Man, here's the thing. We don't think of it too much in here about how difficult it is to call in sometimes. I mean, these guys know that lots of people are listening, especially when you consider the archive. Mm-hmm. People all over are listening to that thing, and I don't want to make anybody more nervous about calling in. But, calling in is tough sometimes. It takes some cojones, and this guy calls in and sings a Hot Nuts song. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. It was cool.
Well done. Hot Nuts.
That's fun. You deserve a shirt, my friend. We're going to put a little star on yours.
A little star.
Sorry, that was gay. What are you going to do? Go a whole show being a man? It's not going to happen.
No.
I'm feeling a little better, though. Gino, your beers are doing me right. And
Thank you.
This winter brew now, real nice malt back on this guy. And not your regular type of malt flavor.
I get red licorice.
Yeah, that's it, because it's a sweeter thing happening. What do you think about that one, Doc?
Red licorice, huh? You mean like red vine?
Red vines,
fruity?
yeah, fruity.
It's a little fruity. Yeah.
I'm drinking your IPA right
I
now.
get that too.
Yeah, but I had it before.
Yeah, I was thinking, man, it tastes like an IPA to
No,
me.
not that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I get a
Gee,
little
I'm not
red
getting
licorice
that.
out of it too, absolutely. Yeah, definitely a little red vines in there.
Yeah, I didn't throw any of those in there.
Yeah, come on. Well, you just don't want to give away your secrets.
Yeah. Dry hop red vines.
Actually, it's sort of like the Poppy Jasper, only, on steroids.
Is that what it is?
It's pretty much.
Higher gravity and...
Definitely that.
Okay, and you hop it more as well?
Yeah, it's about twice as hopped as the Poppy Jasper. And
Okay.
It's been, I made it, I think, October last year, so it's been a little while. But my intent's always been to make it sort of like a Poppy Jasper on steroids. And a lot of my barley wines tend to be sort of similar, like that family thing we were talking about.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's got the same hops. I don't think I used any different hops in it. And I know its alcohol is about 8.5% for this particular batch.
Okay.
And its gravity finishes off relatively high. Even though it starts high, it finishes off relatively high, like 1017 specific gravity, I think, is about what it finished. It's definitely above 1014, and the start gravity, I forget it. It's above 1085, but about that. 1084, 85, something like that.
Wow. It's up there.
So that puts it above 8%.
Nice.
And then I don't remember how much I dry hopped it. I can't recall. I usually don't dry hop the heck out of the stronger beers. Sometimes I do. I had our 10th anniversary ale. I used 11 different types of hops and pitched them every 10 minutes, and pitched a lot in the dry hop phase too, and it was very hoppy.
Okay.
It's like a triple IPA is what it ended up being because it was strong and
gotcha
11%. And
did you open up the regular IPA already, John? You got that one going too?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, let me finish.
Yeah. Gino, I'm going to give it. I'll leave it up to you. The family is welcome to throw on some headphones if they want to hear what's happening over here. But fare thee well. You never know who's calling in, man. Just going to let you know. Okay, just thought I'd offer it up.
Being shy,
yeah.
Like that happens.
You never know what's going to. I got a caller right here, so. Okay, this might be good that the headphones are off. Rich, what's happening?
What's up, Justin?
Not a lot. Having fun. Having fun here with El Toro. You got an alternative version of Hot Nuts for us?
Well, yeah. I think I'm hammered enough to try to sing it. And I'm actually going to try to do the notes instead of reciting it as poetry.
Okay.
See, that's what I thought. He should be. It was nice and clean and clear, but he should have been singing.
Yeah.
He was a hip-hop kind of,
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. You give it to us, man.
Well, you got to promise to edit it out.
Sure, we promise.
Okay.
No problem. No promises.
Yeah, I'm not going to promise you that.
You guys ready?
I'm ready. Do it.
Selling nuts, hot nuts. Anybody here want to buy my nuts? Selling nuts, hot nuts. I've got nuts for sale. Selling 1 for $5 and 2 for $10. If you buy 'em once, you'll buy 'em again. Selling nuts, hot nuts. You buy 'em from the Peanut Man.
Yeah. Okay.
Hot nuts.
You got soul.
Anybody here want to buy my nuts? Selling nuts. Hot nuts. I've got nuts for sale. They tell me your nuts is mighty fine, but I bet your nuts isn't hotter than mine selling nuts. Hot nuts, you buy from the peanut man.
Wow.
Hot nuts, anybody here wanna buy my nuts? Selling nuts. Hot nuts, I've got nuts for sale. They tell me your nuts is mighty small. Best to have small nuts and no nuts at all. Selling nuts. Hot nuts, you buy 'em from the peanut man.
Bravo. Bravo.
That's some soul.
That's a lot of soul.
Put a little bit of soul behind it. That was something else.
Okay, now I'm parched, man. I got to find my porter.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, you need a drink. All right, John, I'm challenging you now to take that out of the archive.
And I'll make a hip-hop
Put some beat behind that. That was some soul right there. There you go. Hey, Rich, that was awesome, man.
Just kind of hanging out.
Hey, Rich,
that old thing?
Hey, Rich, can I have you call in sometime to my cell and I'll record you in Pro Tools?
Well, I guess I've already been recorded because I know Justin isn't.
You can take that recording, John. That'll be better than a phone recording.
That's true.
Just cut it out the archive.
Okay, I'll do that.
You want a bobblehead shirt, Rich?
Well, I already got a shirt from you guys, so, I'm not greedy.
It's up to you, man. You deserve it after that. We'll give it to you if you want one.
All right, dude, I'll take a bobblehead shirt.
All right, cool.
What size are you?
What size you want?
I'm at least a large. I've been brewing for about 12 years, so that equals at least a large.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll give you an XL. You can shrink it.
Cool.
All right, send me an email. We'll get you a shirt.
All right, check you later.
Thanks, Rich.
That was impressive.
Good.
I love our listeners, man.
Was that the extended version?
That was the extended version. Yeah. Rich isn't shy. That's for sure. Okay, now this is a good question, and I don't want to put you on the spot with it, Gino. I couldn't find an El Toro website.
We don't have one yet. We're working on it.
Okay.
They were asking somebody to do it, so it takes a little while to.
Hey, I know that deal.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good reviews out there about El Toro. You can get a lot of hits off of Google, but no website.
That's right. If you do an El Toro search, that's absolutely true. Just punch El Toro into Google, and you'll find all sorts of beer reviews and different awards that they've won and things like that, but you won't find an El Toro website.
Pub Crawler does pretty good for, there's a lot of fans there, and Rate Beers. The ones in Pub Crawler, I know a lot of those guys. They'll come by and I'll go, oh, you're this one and you're that one. The Rate Beer, like I said, they're further away, so I don't know the guys, but they're very nice to us. So.
Gotcha.
By and large.
Right. You don't pay them for that?
No. Well,
not money.
I pay them with my intellectual property that I just don't get enough for.
Is this the IPA right here, John?
Yeah.
Are you sure? No. I think I'm finishing the winter.
I put the bottle in front of you.
No.
Guess not.
Oh, we got to try Bub's beer, too.
We got to do the Bub beer.
Looks like I'm walking home.
Is it this bottle here? Yeah. Imperial India Pale Ale.
Double, yeah.
That's
Deuce.
the double.
That's
okay.
The
Deuce.
Imperial,
I like that
double.
you call it the Deuce.
Deuce, that's Gina. She's the second kid.
Oh, nice.
March 2nd's her birthday, so coming up.
Very nice.
So she's Deuce.
Happy birthday.
Because
Amber, you got a great
this
beer
one's
name.
Amber, so Amber's already got one. She's had one for a long time.
Yeah.
Gina needed one, so she's Deuce. Of course, we have the Gina's Honey Blonde now, too, so because she's a honey blonde. And
yeah.
Wow.
Very nice.
So she's got two. Amber wants two.
That is definitely new meaning to the family brewery right there. That's very cool.
Well, their grandpa has one. We've got a William Jones Wheat that's won a gold at JBF, and so he's got one.
Okay.
He used to be a Bud guy, so we had to make something light for him, so it was the wheat beer, of course.
That's a good transition.
You said he wasn't a beer guy.
What's that?
You said he wasn't a beer
No, my father.
Oh, okay.
My father's doesn't drink
at all.
But he's a good bar guy. He doesn't drink. He's one of those guys that, well, you could tell. I mean, I talk. My dad will talk nonstop.
Yeah.
And people like that, so they hang out at our microbrewery just to hang out with him so he can BS him all day long.
Gino, if the brewery ever has any trouble, you just go on the radio, my friend. You're doing good.
Oh, thank you.
It's good beer.
Oh, I'm blushing.
That's good beer. She's turning ready, sweating.
You dry hop this too?
Which one is that?
This is the Imperial. This is the Deuce.
Oh, it's got it's dry hopped a lot.
Yeah.
It's I think I got about 80 pounds of hops in about a 350 pound batch, and there's 36 pounds just in the dry hops.
You're You're awesome.
You
are awesome.
Yeah, it's 12 pounds of
it's not for
Tomahawk. Tomahawk or Columbus, same thing.
Oh, nice.
12 pounds of Amarillo and 12 pounds of either Centennial or Simcoe, depending on which batch that is.
Okay. Where do you use the Amarillo?
In the dry hops and in the Whirlpool.
Okay.
Justin likes Amarillo.
I do. And you know what? I think I'm going to, in fact, you just reminded me, Gino, because I had thought of it and then forgot it when I wrote my recipe. I think I'm going to do the Amarillo in my pale ale. I'm going to do it in the Whirlpool. Instead of doing the 1 minute, I'm going to do it in the Whirlpool.
Can you get Amarillo? Because Amarillo has been very hard to get for commercial brewers recently because there's some brewer, I don't know who out there.
Yeah, you want some? I'll give you some.
Yeah, I've actually had to reserve some this year. For like a year and a half, I've been unable to get it just because it's been all sold out.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, the crop this year was a relatively low yield, so there's not a lot out there. Centennial was hard to get last year, too, but apparently they've got a lot of it this year. And Simcoe was really impossible to get, and I think this year they said they've got a lot. So
yeah, the word is definitely that Amarillo's tough. I've got last year's Amarillo, and I'm good friends with Jameel the Pope, our homebrew god around here, and he hooked me up with a big bundle of Amarillo, so I've been using it in most of my brews since I got that.
Yeah, it's hard to get this year.
Yeah.
And it's funny because about 5-6 years ago nobody used it, so it's
only
a few of us were using it, and and everyone was liking the beers come off it, and then I guess the word got out and somebody gobbled it all up.
So
this is a great
Justin, you're holding.
Yeah, I'm holding. Oh yeah, I'm holding. Well, you need some too.
Yeah. Can you hook me up?
I can. I got a little extra. Yeah.
So see,
it's not. I'll tell you this though. It's not been in the freezer. It's been in the fridge, but sealed in 2 Ziplocs. But it's been in the fridge the whole time.
All right.
But I got extra. In fact, when I brew this next batch, I'll give you some.
Cool.
Yeah? It's,
hook me up.
I like the Amarillo. This is a great double IPA, man.
Thank you.
This is really nice. You ever entered this in competition?
That one got me Alpha King at the Great American Beer Festival in 2003. And I haven't entered it since because I haven't been back in a couple of years, but when I've entered it, it does well.
Okay.
And it always rates well amongst the judges at JBF too, because they can recognize it when they go by tasting.
Yeah.
And they'll come by and tell me it's always rated well. And when I get my little tickets back that says how they rate it, it always does well. It's, I mean, any time it's always up there. So
nice.
Justin's shaking. He likes that beer so much.
Yeah. Is there an extra bottle of this? Yeah, you notice I didn't pass it around. I put it down in front of me, and it's sitting right there. Oh, yeah.
Well, that one's on draft, too. We just gave Pizza a keg. Hopyard has it a lot. Tornado has it on tap all the time.
Okay. All right. Tornado's one of my new favorite places, too.
Yes, it's a good place.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to taste Bub's beer, because we got Bub's homebrew here. All of us are going to taste that. And then I got 2 questions left for Gino, and then we're going to get the heck out of here so you can get out and we can get out, and it's been a long show.
That's good. It's a school night, and I'm starting to get in trouble.
Yeah, we'll get you out. The 2-time gold medalist Olympian Bub is on the phone with us. How are you, Bub?
Oh, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing real well. You still wearing your medals from Friday?
No, I drank them.
Attaboy.
Didn't take too long.
Bub brought it real strong on Friday, if you didn't hear the beginning of the show, and if you didn't hear Lunch Meat on Friday. And he's a 2-time gold medalist in the Long P and also the Bad Beer Guzzle. And
I just got done practicing the Long P again.
Did you? I timed myself later on Friday after I was drinking, just because I thought it was real interesting that I went 32 seconds. Dude, I killed you. I went like 50.
I told you I couldn't throttle it. It was so bad I couldn't throttle. If I would have been able to throttle a little bit, it would have been a good minute.
Yeah, I went like 55 seconds.
I could have beat you easy. I held on too long.
I think the other thing is that you trained with water, and it's different than beer. There's a lot more impurities that you're releasing with the beer, so you end up with a lot more in the bladder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, next time. But there's always next year. But, man, hey, 2-time gold medalist, man. Good work.
Hey, I do what I can.
Okay, so Bub was just, real nice to us, too. Sent us a box of beer to taste and also a whole bunch of pint glasses. Is that your homebrew logo that you put on there?
Yep, absolutely.
And it's a great logo. Real cool glasses, Doc. They're out. There you go. You got one in front of you right there. That's his logo right there. It's kind of a butterfly. And what does it say? What's the brewery name, Bub?
Schmetterling Brewery.
Schmetterling Brewery. Daniela actually thought that they were maybe like German pint glasses that got sent here. She didn't. They're so nice.
Mm-hmm.
And
Schmetterling is a German word.
Yeah.
It's butterfly, right? Yes.
There you go. Nice work. So that was real cool.
Butterfly. Wow.
Send us a bunch of those, and then send us his beer, which we're about to taste. So, John, you tasting already, John?
Which one are you cracking?
Chocolate stout?
Chocolate stout.
Chocolate stout now.
Beer. Awesome beer.
What do you mean, no?
It's awesome.
Oh, that's what John said.
I like it.
Why, you don't like this one?
Well,
it's
I'm
from
not a
03.
stout fan, but that's not my beer.
Never mind.
I'm going to get in trouble because my wife doesn't like it when I do that, but that's her first and only beer to this point.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I think it's great.
It has a W on the top.
Did you tell us not to taste this one, or what?
Wendy.
Gotcha.
What was that?
Did you leave a note that we weren't supposed to do this one on the air? Or something?
No.
Okay.
I could have just said it was my beer and not got in trouble, but
gotcha.
I'll get in trouble.
From 2003.
She just doesn't like the recognition. She didn't want it for competition. She wanted it for herself. But
it smells great.
I'm going to let you guys drink some of it because I thought it was.
Stouts are hard to make balanced and do well.
Oh, that's a nice beer.
It was an extract kit, so I mean, we came up with the recipe ourselves, but she did most, if not all, the work except for the heavy lifting, of course.
Okay, it's nice. It's a little astringent, right?
Yep.
But it's
that's
nice.
From the grain. Yeah, I noticed that from a lot of the grain. I think I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I got. It smells good.
Smells great. I love the aroma.
It comes off first as really nice and smooth. Ends a little astringent, but that's the only fault that really I can go in, especially for being that old.
From the grains?
Yeah. But especially for being that old.
I don't taste oxidation in there, which is pretty good.
Yeah. It's pretty clean for being that old. I wouldn't have guessed it was that old.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. February 2003, so I mean, it was supposed to be a Christmas thing, but the cake got sent late, so.
Okay. That's good beer. That's her first brew?
That's her first and so far only brew. I mean, she's helped me quite a bit.
Okay. I said that a girl. Nice work.
Do you keg or do you bottle it?
I keg a lot of my own stuff. We bottled that.
You bottle, okay.
So that's all bottle conditioned. If it's in a bottle, it's bottle conditioned. I don't feed off the keg.
Like your choice of bottles. Bub does them in the red stripe bottles, those little fat boys. Those things are cool. I just like that you bottle them in those.
Yeah, I bottle in those all the time.
And you know what's awesome about them, too, is that they don't have a label. So you don't got to worry about cleaning all that junk off when you sanitize it. They just have the painted on label, you know?
By the way, she must be way behind the times on the feed, but she just said, yay me. Big delay.
Yeah, there's like a 3-minute delay or something there.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got from Bub? We had another one, right?
That's Weissenbach.
Okay, now this is the one.
Now this is the one that foamed up the other day. I just opened one and it didn't foam, but this was a lager, and it was done quite experimentally. I brewed it in October for Christmas.
This one didn't foam up.
No, this one didn't either on mine. Okay. I don't know what happened with the other one, but I lagered it in the garage. I just set it in the garage.
So what temp was it?
Whatever the temperature was, man. I started in October. I bottled it in December.
So cold.
And it ended up originally, I don't know what it tastes like now, but originally it was probably the best beer I ever made.
All right. Real malty.
Yeah.
Definitely real malty.
It's not truly a Weizenbach because it wasn't made with Weizen yeast.
Okay.
The Weizenbach because it's about half wheat malt instead of...
Okay.
It's very light.
It is light. It's clean. I think it goes down real clean. It's got a nice malt flavor.
It's got almost a toffee-like smell to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was one of my first all-grain... I think my first all-grain batch.
A little oxidized.
What'd you mash at? You don't know.
Okay. Whatever.
Just pick something and lie to us.
Yeah.
Nah. I have no earthly clue. I mean,
212.
like I said, it was 2002.
212, 213,
151.7.
Yeah. Whatever. 400.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's good,
I
man.
sparged at 185.
I brewed on the sun.
You know, I would just... I just would have put some more hops in it. Or something. It's real malty. I don't mean that on a hophead way.
It's supposed to be a bock, so it's supposed to taste like that.
Yeah, but it's all malt.
Yeah.
Is that right?
No, it's not supposed to be hoppy.
Okay, well, don't listen to me then.
And I don't like hops all that much, so...
No, it's for a bock, it's kind of in there.
It's right there?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he said it was just like a regular lager.
No,
I said it was a
No, it's a
Weizen.
Bach, it's not a Weizenbach, because a Weizenbach uses a Hefeweiss yeast.
Yeah. So just a regular Bach.
Lager yeast.
Yeah, then you done well.
Hey,
no, it's
Pyramid uses a lager yeast.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, you done well, man. Then it's all malt. It tastes good to me.
It's all malt.
Anything wrong in there, Doc?
just kind of getting a little bit oxidized.
Okay.
And the toffee smells a little funky to me. It's not bad. It's just it just stands out.
You think?
I just wonder where it came from.
I was going to ask you. You think that's grain or that's? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not yeast driven.
I literally went to the homebrew store and picked up what they had.
Gotcha.
And so it could have been anything there.
Do you know what the gravities were, like starting and finishing, offhand?
I'd have to look. I don't have it off the top of my head. That was before I was using computer software to do it.
All right.
It's all on paper somewhere.
And one day you're going to get it all back into your computer program, right?
One day.
Right.
I took it out of designing great beers or clone brews, one of the two.
Mm.
So it's I'm guessing 160 or 170, somewhere in that range. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think let's go with 165. That's probably pretty close.
There you go. That's good enough. It's good beer, man. Good work.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, we're going to get out of here, Bub. So we're not going to try all your beer. I think we had one more to try, but maybe we'll just save it.
That's cool.
Because we got to run. I got another couple questions for Gino, then we got to get the poor guy out of here.
All right, you guys have a good night.
Hey, thanks very much, Bub. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right, buddy. We'll see you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. 2 quick questions for you, Gino. One of them you don't even have to answer here. You just have to keep it in the back of your head.
Just nod.
Just nod. I was going to say just nod.
In fact, I don't remember the other question, so you just get that one real easy, quick one. Listeners love... now I remember the other one, too. Listeners love clone recipes.
Yeah, there you go.
I know you don't want to give away all the trade secrets, but if most of our listeners aren't going to be able to get your beer right away until you get to maybe a little more distribution in the future, although a lot of our listeners will vacation out here and hit up guests we've had on the show, so you might get a little of that. So you don't have to, spit out a clone recipe now, but if you could maybe think about something that you'd like to give a clone out that we could brew at home, send it over to John there in his email box and wouldn't mind us posting that. That'd be real cool.
Cool. And we were, I had a brewer that came by from, who was from Santa Maria Brewing Company.
Okay.
And Dan. They're real nice people, and their beers are real nice. And their brewery is on El Camino Real in Santa Maria. Well, El Camino Real, as a lot of people know, is like the old Mission Trail that runs from I think as far north as Sonoma and goes all the way down into Mexico, but definitely San
I thought
Diego.
It goes all the way up to Canada.
No,
it doesn't.
The missions, the California Missions Trail.
The end of the missions in Sonoma.
Okay.
Yeah. So it goes from there all the way as far south as San Diego. And it may even go beyond, it may even be considered to go as far south as Laredo, but we don't usually consider that because U.S. isn't California history. But anyway, there's breweries all along the El Camino Real. There's some of us anyway, and our pub will be located on Monterey Road, El Camino Real, and his is located right on El Camino Real. And we were talking about making like a duplicate sort of thing for anybody that's along. So we all use like the same basic formulas, but only put our little spin on it, basically based off the changes in yeast and our brewing process and, of course, equipment.
Great idea.
So something like that could go in there.
Okay.
But, that's relatively simple. I could come up with some things that are like our Gold Nails, a relatively simple formula, and it's... I don't want to give away trade secret stuff either.
No, and that's fine. But, if you could give us no one's they're going to brew this at home and enjoy it so that they can maybe taste a little something. We just love recipes. You know how it is. You were a home brewer.
And IPAs, I tweak that all the time, so I can give IPA recipes, which people probably would like because they like IPAs.
Sure.
And I can give basically ratios, ratio of hops to grain and ratios of specialty malt to, standard malt. And all of it, of course, would be grain, based off of grain. And I might have to, just for simplicity on my part, give you like the large scale for my scale.
That's fine. John can take care of it.
Have to ratio it down.
Yep. I give it to Fitty G, and he dumbs it down for the rest of us.
I will do my best.
So don't you don't have to spend too much time converting it or anything. Just give them the regular one, as close to the regular one as you want to give them.
In percentages if you want to do that. Like percentage pills, percentage
leave it up to interpretation.
And we'll convert it.
Sure.
That'd be cool. All right, just shoot them an email when you get a chance. And listeners asked about that already.
Daniela is raising her hand.
Go ahead.
I have a very nice quote out of the chat room about the El Toro beers.
Okay.
I love them.
That just came out of the chat room?
Yeah, just came through.
Thanks, Dad. That's funny.
He doesn't drink, but thanks, Pop.
Right.
He doesn't know how to use a computer either, though, so. All
right, and then
to play solitaire.
I guess my last question would be for the listeners out there, is there any way they could get a hold of your beer if they're not in Wisconsin or California?
There's, who's the guy at a series that has the beer shop? Because he buys the beer from our distributor and then sends out, it's Beer Off the Wall or Beer on the Wall.
Okay.
He has a website, and you guys are online right now, right?
Yeah, Daniel
go to
can
either
look
Beer
it up.
on the Wall or beeroffthewall.com. I think it's Beer on the Wall.
Beeronthewall.com.
Check that out.
I think that's him, and he's got a whole catalog and stuff, and he ships all over the country.
Oh, cool.
So,
all right.
I mean, Bevmo used to do that, but I don't think they do that anymore. But
They do it with wine. I've seen that. I don't know if they do it with beer. I know you can do it still with wine.
Beer
for
on
them.
the Wall does it. I'm pretty sure and if it's in the Celebrator too, I think he advertises in there, so there's his website there.
Okay.
But just based off of what I've said, you could always do that, the search, Google search and find him. Did you find it?
We got Beer on the Wall, unique beer gifts for any occasion.
Yeah, he carries our stuff.
There
and
you
I know
go.
that he ships all over. He gets the IPA, Stout, Poppy, and Golden. He doesn't get the wheat or any of the other stuff, but he gets those.
Okay.
For sure. And I've seen it because we see it on our depletions report, our sales report. So.
Gotcha. So he actually does it.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with a lot of our listeners is we have a lot of West Coast brewers.
Yeah.
And we just love the beers, and they can't get it.
I think he gets everybody's that has a distributor because he'll get anybody's that you have in here. I'm pretty sure he gets just about.
Okay.
I don't know that there's anyone that he doesn't get unless they're self-distributing and just don't sell to him because he went out of his way to get ours, and I'm pretty sure he gets anybody that has a regular distributor that he can reach.
You're the first one to come in here and say that, so that's awesome, Gino. That's a great resource.
Well, and you can look through the catalog because the catalog's pretty big, right? I mean, I haven't looked at it in a long time, but
all right.
you got it.
I'm going to have to start charging beer on the wall.
There you go. There's your
Cool. That's awesome. They can find your beer and check it out. All right, Gino. Really great having you here.
Thanks for having
today.
me. It was fun.
Come back if you would.
Sure.
It was a good time. And great information out of you. Great beer. It's good stuff.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Last time I had your beer was quite a while ago. So
we do most of the beer festivals, so whenever you go to the beer festivals.
That's incorrect.
We had
his
beer
at the Barley Vine Festival.
That's right.
It was really good.
That was Yo, actually.
That's right.
That was this batch of Yo. It was what it was.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Now, thank you. I totally forgot about it. Before that, I had bought a 6-pack a couple years ago and loved it then, too.
Yeah, we did that when we did the Holiday Ale Festival, where I think I sent Yo also at Pacific Coast Brewing Company. Anderson Valley, we're always up at that festival, and there's not as many around this area anymore, but Hop Yard around here.
Yeah.
But then the Peach Brass Rail.
Yep, in Walnut Creek, or Danville, rather.
And they'll have the Deuce and the extra Hoppy Poppy.
Nice.
And I think that's the most amount of aroma tabs I've thrown, because I usually throw in 3, and I threw 5 in just because, I don't know, I felt like it.
Gotcha. Can you
they
tell
like
me
hops there. So
what's an aroma tab, real quick?
Aroma tab is
hop extract.
A hop extract that's also dehydrated, so it looks like a fizzy.
Yeah.
It's also combined with some cellulose and some sodium bicarbonate. So when it breaks down relatively quick as far as dissolves.
Yeah.
And then the sodium bicarbonate diffuses very tight bubbles and sends it through.
That's all right.
See, I talk with my hands. They can't see that. But they send these little tight bubbles attached to the cellulose and the hop fiber, hops particles throughout the beer, so you get a really good hop distribution.
Nice. Do you only use it for dry hopping?
I don't use it that often, but I use it, only in dry hopping. It's sort of a waste anywhere else.
Okay. All right.
I think you dated yourself referring to fizzies. Well, yeah. I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
Alka-Seltzeries?
Okay, there you go.
I like fizzies. That sounds better.
Do you know what those are? Fizzies?
No. Well, I know when you say Alka, I know the concept, but I never would have.
It's like Kool-Aid tablets that you drop in a thing of water when you're a kid.
It will go.
You could make root beer. You could make grape soda,
cherry.
Okay. And it actually made carbonated soda.
It carbonates it.
Oh,
like
right.
Pop Rocks for
liquid.
For liquid, yeah.
Yeah, so you could make root beer, cola, grape, cherry.
It was a big deal.
That is a big deal. I would like that today still.
it was a big thing when you were a kid because you get to make your own soda in your glass.
You put it on your tongue and it just...
Yeah, that was fun too.
Doc. Doc's always doing weird. Put it up your nose. Try that.
I'm sure he did too.
Kids.
All right. Hey,
see how many you can put in your mouth.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks very much. I really appreciate it.
Cheers.
All right. What do we got on next week, John, real quick?
Peter Zian from
AleSmith. All right, cool. And maybe we'll try to sneak in a little sanitation. What is our topic, though?
We're going to be talking about high-gravity beers, how to brew them.
Oh, that's going to be great. Actually, there's going to be no sanitation.
Sanitation like 3-4 weeks from now.
Yeah, out the window. All right, we'll do high-gravity discussion. That'll be a good topic. All right, cool. Thanks, Doc. Thanks, Daniela. And thank you, John.
Jamil show tomorrow?
The Jamil show tomorrow morning, dry stout.
Nice.
10 a.m.
Yes.
And then, of course, don't forget about lunch meat on Friday.
Oh, that show.
Friday at noon. Lunch meat.
Noonish.
Night, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night.
Pale ale is a friend of mine, and I sure like good barley wine. Chocolate porter, cherry stout, don't you know what I am talking about? Don't you give me that American cruise? get down. Double and triple on my best friend. I think I'll have them all over again. But don't you give me that American crude. Boys, I want a real homebrew. Homebrew, don't you really love that homebrew? Can't get enough of it. Homebrew, it blows my mind. I love homebrew all of the time. Yeah, I think I'll have me. Well, I'll have me one right now. Wheat beer on a hot summer day. A bark will do me when the skies are gray. I'll take a Belgian brew anytime, and the women sing and lambic fine. But don't you give me that American crude, boys, I want a real homebrew. Homebrew, don't you really love that homebrew? Can't get enough of it. Homebrew, it blows my mind. I love homebrew all of the time. Yeah, I think I'll have me. Well, I'm the one right now. Cherry stout, yeah, you know what I am talking about. But don't you give